Hello. Happy Saturday, guys.
Hello.
Saturday.
Hey.
Howdy, y'all.
Oh, we can't hear you again Tuesday.
Tuesday, we can't hear you.
Welcome to Low Budget Productions, everyone. We are ready for you.
Feels like it's been forever, right? Since we've been together.
A long time.
It has been. Why does it feel so long?
We didn't do anything last week.
Oh yeah, we didn't do a show last weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my passport stolen. So
You did?
Oh no.
yeah,
Oh,
I think
God.
How did that happen?
Me.
I think Jenny had that. Yeah.
I needed it for identification purposes.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
We can hear you
We
now.
can hear you now.
It's so weird. It just keeps going out and in. So, my bad. So, Carrie, you have anything exciting to tell us?
Yes. So I just wanted to say, I know that most of everyone here has probably seen the Witnesses Defense, the legal fund reached over $200,000, which is amazing. And they just wanted to make sure that I told y'all tonight how grateful they all are for everyone's support. And they can really, really feel it, you guys. They have not had support like this. I mean, for the past 4 years, they've never had anything like this. So they're so grateful, and they just wanted to make sure that I let everybody know that tonight, how thankful they are for everybody. And thank you guys so much for getting it up like that. They have a long fight ahead, so it's amazing. So thank you.
$200,000. That is
Yeah, and I
insane.
Yeah, when did it start? Jenny, 4 months?
November 21st, it went active. So it's been exactly 4 months.
It's crazy.
That is insane.
So
It just
awesome.
warms my heart. I can't.
Yeah.
It's mind blowing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You never did that, right? Like.
Who are you, Ginny?
Uh,
Ginny, you should have worn those glasses with
I
the
should have.
and the mustache.
yeah.
Oh,
For those that don't know, on Twitter, there's a Karen supporter who was going after Ginny, trying to act like she was somebody else, using someone else's identity.
Right.
She ran my picture through like Google Images or something, and she found some random person that she said was actually me, or that I was impersonating or something. I don't know, whatever. Oh yeah,
crazy.
middle one, John Barron. Yeah, now I'm being accused of being John Barron too.
I've been called
Are
Kevin
you
a few
John Barron,
times.
Ginny? Are you him?
I have to admit.
Are you?
We knew it. Knew it.
Yep.
Oh gosh.
I can't wait until we have like an online party where we find out who John Barron is. I'm
me
excited.
too. Yeah.
So,
Nice cover, Ginny.
It's so ridiculous. I was like, are you crazy? Like, I'm literally on a show every week.
I know.
I mean, is she really? No, she's normal. Yeah,
No.
they're all like.
There's an extra level of unhinged right now.
Yes.
That is very entertaining to watch.
Mhm.
Not gonna lie.
So tonight we're covering the amended complaints. And just to let y'all know, not only am I sick again with a second head cold thanks to my son, but Julie is also hanging on by a thread right now. So we're going to do our best. But so when we first looked at this amended complaint, we were going through it, and obviously we've covered a lot of it through the original complaint. So this time around, what we did, instead of wanting to pull apart every single sentence of 45 pages, because literally almost every single sentence needed to be corrected or given context, we have decided that to put this amended complaint into different sections. So what we're doing tonight is we divided the complaint up into lies by omission, what they did not put in this complaint. Lies by commission, what they directly lied about. Debunked assertions, the changing stories, and then, of course, the red herrings. And some of these topics, obviously, they're going to overlap a little bit, but we're going to try not to be redundant about them. So I'm going to start with lies by omission. And I'm going to bring this up here. So something that is such a good way to analyze things, by the way, is to look for what is not said. And what is not said can be just as important and arguably even more telling at times than what is actually said. So when facts are not helpful to a person's narrative, leaving those details out can be the easiest way to avoid transparency, right? And eclipse kind of that full context. So I'm going to skip here. So 54 pages, guys. Where's the text stream data? Where is it? Where is it? It's nowhere. This is wild.
But I thought the data was the data.
Right. It's the data, but we're not going to talk about the data.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's not going to talk about the data. We're going to talk about it. And here is the deal here is if the vehicle was not involved, then the vehicle's computer system should be a valuable asset in proving that Karen Reed did not rage reverse at the victim. Not only just not reverse, but not rage reverse, right? The computer system is basically the vehicle's own alibi. So what is her car's alibi, right? And why are they not talking about it if she is innocent? And we know the data is not helpful for Karen at all. In fact, it's incredibly damaging to her own evolving narrative. And the ARCA experts could not even argue against that text stream data. The closest her team got to was arguing over a few seconds of the reverse versus John's phone being put away into his pocket state. So what does the data say? I love this little monkey guy. Is it
He is so cute.
is it a monkey cat? Like, what is it? I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like a cat. I don't know.
It's an Arctic lemur. I'm sticking with that.
It's a lemur, yeah.
Okay.
So this topic of her data is pivotal, obviously, for so many reasons, but it is also, I believe, the most misunderstood part of the entire case. And the part of the case that people really, really don't want to talk about when you want to ask why they believe Karen Reed is innocent, right? Because the data is showing us something completely different than her speculations and narratives. And this came down to trigger 1 and trigger 2 of her car data. And what this was that trigger 1 that they matched, they used Karen's own narrative of making a 3-point turn on Cedar Crest Road with John in the vehicle. So on their way to Fairview, as we know, they missed their turn, and so they had to flip around. And Karen, in her own words, gave this narrative, right? So the experts were able to match up using many different data points and match up where that exact 3-point turn was. And this included steering wheel degree changes, reverse motion, distance, forward motion, John's geolocation on his phone. That was a big one. And 8 minutes and 5 seconds after that 3-point turn, the data shows Karen's vehicle moved forward a bit, and then it recorded her reversing 87 feet at 74.5% throttle. So let alone this being on that exact street at that exact moment. This exact act of reverse, and not just a general reverse, that is a rage reverse. That is an extreme reverse, right? So Proctor and all the people allegedly who are framing her had to be the luckiest people that not only did she accidentally crack her taillight, but that she also rage reversed that night.
Right.
And I want to just show here that in an interview Karen did, I believe this one was with Dateline.
Yep.
In her story before this new data came out, because remember in trial 1, they had part of the data of her vehicle. They were able to recover more of it for trial 2. So this interview she did on Dateline, she told her story that she kind of slow rolled it off the street because she was waiting on him and he wasn't coming back. So she started slow rolling it off the street and then she drove home. Waiting on him. And ironically, Trigger 2 shows that she slow rolled it forward and then she reversed and then she went home. So it just, it aligns a little too much, right? That she's admitting part of what she did and leaves out the reverse motion. The other data that they left out, they also have the power on, power off. They're able to match that up using not only the power on, power off, the narratives, but they were also able to match up with mileage, all of that. So they know exactly when her car was where it was, right? And that also, the trigger points are documented.
Uh-oh, we can't hear you. Sorry. Right when you got to the good part. Nope. Nope. She's resorted to smacking the microphone. Try now. No. Oh, she has a curse. I told her to sage the house.
Yeah, it was happening before when we were talking too.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can you guys hear me now?
Now we can.
All right. It's on my computer mic now, so I don't know. Okay. So the trigger points are in between power on and power off mode. So they know exactly between exact times as well. Tuesday's been hacked. All right. So next on, we have, obviously this was in trial. They could show from John's own phone. Oh, so basically, not only did they leave out the tech data, they left out, or the vehicle data, they left out a lot of John's phone data. They brought up the steps, but they left out all the GPS stuff. So the GPS shows us exactly, again, where that 3-point turn is, and then where the car arrived in front of Fairview. Here again was the data points of that 3-point turn and then matching it up with the steering wheel maneuver, all of that. Here is more of that data. Just wanted to show it. I'm not going to linger on it. And then, of course, when John was in the car, his GPS movements matched up here. So they have the speed of the car because they have the speed of his phone. And they have that matched up to the times. So he arrives at 12:24 and 38 seconds, which in the amended complaint, they say they arrived around 12:20. Why they did that is obviously they are trying to manipulate the amount of time and squeeze in those steps as mattering, I guess. I'm not really sure. But we have that exact time. So there's no reason why they would say around 12:20, because at 12:20 they were still in the car driving. Okay, this is just more of how they were able to match up his data using the circle range of the location data. I think Ginny might be going a little bit more into that, so I'm not going to linger on that. So again, in the affidavit, in the amended complaint, they say that Karen and John arrived around 12:20. Even their expert that they had used, Richard Green, disagrees with that. He says the location data indicates that they arrived at 12:24:28. I'm wondering if that's a typo and he meant 12:24:38 seconds, because nowhere after that do I ever see anyone write 28. Yeah, but write 38. So we'll give him a little grace there. And then, of course, the tech data, since it showed that the tech reversed, they wanted to see if where the broken taillight was would align to where the arm injury was. And look at that. Weird, right? I mean, how lucky for Proctor and all the witnesses to create this plan before even knowing that Karen would crack her taillight in reverse.
It's crazy, right?
Miraculous. I mean, if you were going to pin it on the girl, you would really want all these things to line up, right?
Yeah. I can't believe they left all this stuff out.
Right? Shocking. Total accident, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Like, you guys, I just have to, for once, I'm like, who thinks this chick is innocent anymore? Like what? Like, come on.
Yeah. Well, it's so wild because people online will be like, "You're so stupid." People who think Karen is guilty are just so stupid, and then you're like, "Oh, well, let's talk about the data," and they just won't.
They vanish.
I don't want to relitigate the case. It's like,
crazy.
Really? Okay.
All righty.
Yeah. All right. That was one more. He actually put on John's a similar sweatshirt. And I mean, look, you guys.
It's unreal.
It is.
If you think in the conspiracy mindset, how would they even know that? How would they be like, oh, look at his injuries. How can we figure out who to blame this on? Oh, I bet Karen will accidentally break her taillight and it'll be the right one that will line up to his arm.
Karen could have went home to Dighton that night for all they knew.
Yeah, they had no idea.
Right.
Makes no sense.
I mean,
yeah, or maybe busted into somebody's pizza shop. We don't know.
Right.
She was hungry. She said she was hungry.
But remember, during the trial, all they could do was make fun of the blue paint.
Yeah.
They didn't want to talk about this. They just made fun of the blue paint.
Yep.
And they never talk about the scratches or the marks on the back, right? They never talk about that. Those scratches, the little ding. That's always forgotten.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, right where his hand was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, they call him blue paint guy. Like, you believe blue paint guy? I'm like, okay, yeah, I do, because he is not only a biomechanic engineer, he's an accident reconstructionist, PhD.
And that's how you do it.
Yeah. And so why wouldn't he did all these testing. This is a paint transfer test that he did. I mean, this is basic science.
Yep.
Right here. And it's like, to ignore that and to scoff at it is just absurd.
How crazy is it, though, that all they need is that one guy, right, to scream how crazy that is and call him blue paint guy, and then all of a sudden that is the narrative. So like think about that's what this whole case is, right?
Yeah. Just have the blogger scream, but I don't want to discount the insane woman who dressed up in a head to toe blue bodysuit and positioned herself outside the courthouse.
Yeah.
She obviously is completely sane.
Yeah.
And that's a normal reaction to a paint transfer test. Somebody should bring up that picture of that lunatic. I'll see if I can find it.
I'm so embarrassed to live here.
I keep trying to extract you.
I don't know what's happening here.
I told Gary earlier that I was like, I need to try to convince my husband to move, but like maybe New Hampshire or something.
I mean, I don't know. Like Kelsey Fitzsimmons is like arrested for assault. She's a cop. Like I don't know what's happening. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point. Blue paint was just to show the alignment, not forensics.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the irony, how do you dismiss that? There's all these things that point to the Occam's razor of this lady reversing and clipping her boyfriend. And it's like, if you have to pick one of two experts, right? Like you have Arca and you've got Dr. Welcher from, what was their company's called?
Arca.
No, Dr. Welcher.
It was Aperture.
Is it Aperture?
It's on the slide.
Yeah.
It's on the slide.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh, nothing gets past us.
But yeah, so if you have both, I mean, let's say we could go deep into Arca and all the bias and the lies, the misconduct in the court. But let's just say that they were ethical and you had two experts that compete with each other, right? Then you look at all the other evidence. So if all the other evidence is pointing to Karen actually reversing into him, why would you dismiss Dr. Welcher? Right? It's wild.
They follow Karen's lead, right? I mean, Karen is completely dismissing it by leaving it out of the filing.
Right.
They just,
And think about it. They were screaming with excitement over Dr. Wolf building a cannon, right? And shooting it into John's taillight. For what reason? Why did you do that? And they thought that was amazing.
I was listening to Hank again today when he called it a potato cannon, and he's like, "So that's why you built the potato cannon?" And Wolf was so offended. He was like,
"If you want to call it that,
the high pressure,
high velocity potato thrower to use, sir."
And they thought that was the coolest thing ever. And it was like, if that was Welcher that did that, they would be laughing. Imagine?
Can you imagine?
That probably goes to his like frat parties now, like he made this cannon for a case and now we've got it like in his backyard for all his parties.
Oh,
and then his cheesy little grin and he was like, "Yeah, it was really cool, man." Weirdo.
Okay, so we got a lot to cover, so I'm gonna.
Yeah, we gotta go.
And what about the testimony from all the medics and firefighters, you guys? Not there. 54 pages. And Karen is blaming the witnesses, right, for framing her. So they concocted this plan and they were all going to now tell the police that she said, "I hit him." And ironically, they leave out all the medic and firefighter testimony. Why? Because they'd have to admit that they are also accusing all these people of being in on framing her. We have Officer Seraph, who testified. She said, "This is all my fault. I did this." Firefighter Nuttall. I don't know how to say his last name.
Nuttall.
Mm-hmm. Karen said several times, "I hit him." Flamati, Karen said, "I hit him. I hit him. Oh my God, I hit him." McLaughlin, "I hit him." "You what?" And Karen repeated it one more time. Whitley, she asked if someone could be in the snow without a jacket for many hours. Basically, she asked Hoslong to die in cold.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But what's amazing about that is in the same document, she's talking about Jen making last minute arrangements for them to be putting him outside for her to find him. So which is it? Was she wondering how long you could be outside without a jacket? Or was someone running around in the yard with him at 5:35 in the morning?
And if they thought he was dead, why would she be wondering how long to die in cold?
Right.
How long did they think they had until Karen was coming back? I mean, if you don't have that number, then what are you worried about? Like, what if, can he die in 20 minutes? What if she came back in 20 minutes?
Right.
And then it's like, okay, well, if they didn't think he was dead, they put him on the lawn alive with his working phone. Mm-hmm. None of this makes any sense whatsoever. So medic firefighter Woodbury says that Karen was hysterical, but that he didn't see any actual tears. And then medic Becker said that Karen told him the last time she saw John, they were fighting. And she was sad because that was the last thing she had said to him. Becker did not get the details on the fight or what was said. And I believe this was in the ambulance on their way to the hospital.
Yes.
Yep.
Karen forgot to tell us she was drunk, you guys.
Oh, no.
God. Wait.
Blame the interns.
And in the complaint, she blames the witnesses for her not having her license back. She was actually convicted of driving drunk. So
take it up with Paula.
Come on. Yeah. And then, as we know, she got her blood taken against her. She tried to fight it, remember, in the hospital, and she ended up getting her blood taken at 9 in the morning. This was hours after John was found. She was still legally drunk at point, maybe a little under or at 8%. And then they did the retrograde. And because you can't narrow in on an exact number of how much alcohol is in your system hours prior due to food in your belly, all the things, how fast you metabolize alcohol. All they could say is she, at the time of dropping John off or around that time, she was around either 13% or all the way up to almost 4 times the legal limit.
That is scary.
And shout out to William Reed, because had he not had her, what is it called? Like on a hold, like called in and tried to.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have this. So thanks, Mr.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah, thanks, Bill.
Appreciate ya.
So I believe this is the last part I'm covering. And I edited it kind of last minute because they do talk about the CERT team. However, in the amended report or the amended complaint, they say that the CERT team arrives after Proctor deposited the tail.
Wow.
So the new
Which again
story
requires time travel and teleportation.
Yes.
Exactly. Because Sergeant O'Hara from the CERT team arrived at 4:56 p.m. Tolley arrived at 5 minutes later. The team all arrived individually at a staggered time because it was a blizzard. Also, by the way, I searched the term blizzard in that report and no blizzard word came up. Just snow.
Wow.
A staggered time after that from about 5:21 to the final officer showing up at 5:41 p.m. The Sergeant O'Hara, who was the leader, says the process began before everyone had arrived. So he arrived at the property at 4:56 p.m. And here is the security camera tow truck showing them arriving at the Sally Port at 5:31 p.m. The SUV pulls into the Sally Port garage at 5:36 p.m. And then the garage closes at 5:41. Once again, O'Hara arrived at 4:56 p.m.
And they were in Dighton at 4:12, and it took almost an hour and a half to get to CPD.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is kind of a new part of their story. So it probably could have fell under the changing story section as well. I think a lot of these things do overlap. But this is interesting because the same way they didn't want to add the medics in because they're going to have to say the medics all knew about this frame job and they participated in it. They would also have to say the CERT team was aware of this. And they can't say that because that sounds crazy. I mean, what other reason are they not saying all this stuff? Because you really are blaming half the town of framing a drunk driver for reversing. And her car even shows that she did that reverse. So that is the end of my section. So we are going to move on to, I believe it's Lydia, who's going to do the direct lies.
We've got some serious lies here, people.
I'm shocked.
Wait.
I'm shocked.
I think
This complaint is wild, even compared to the first one. Like this is, I can't believe attorneys signed this. And I really, really hope, I don't know about civil, like I don't know anything about civil, but I don't even know if they can sanction, like there are just blatant lies in this, like that they know are lies, that they're just, it reads like a Turtle Boy blog. I can't believe they signed it.
Before I pass this on, I missed 2 clips I wanted to show real quickly.
But how do you explain reversing at all around that time?
So I didn't care about that. I think the reversing could have happened on the way home. It could have happened at the 3-point turn. There's enough play in that data that it was there's no way that the Commonwealth could prove beyond any reasonable doubt that the reversing actually occurred in front of 34 Fairview. There was a reversing event at some point, but it could have happened on her way home when she, takes a left and there's some snowplow coming and she decides to reverse, go around a different corner, or go around the snowplow or whatever. Right. Could have been 1,000 things. Could have happened at the 3-point turn.
1,000 different ways she could have reversed. It could not have happened at the 3-point turn because John's was in the car. His phone was documenting all that. Alan Jackson, you did yourself a huge disservice doing that interview, by the way.
And we're very grateful.
He looks like a complete jackass.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, yes.
She reversed when she was taking a toddler a lollipop. I mean,
it's like, did Lucky see her reverse like that? I mean, they act like Lucky.
Right, she's dodging Lucky.
Yeah.
I know, when he said that, there's snowplow coming. Like, what? What are you talking about?
That's bad. He had to try and explain that.
Yeah.
And he could not explain it, you guys. So I had another, I'm not going to do this clip, but it was just Dr. Welcher saying that it is his expert opinion that John O'Keefe was hit by Karen reversing. And the online world loves to say that the trial proved that no expert could find that the car reversed into him. And that's just blatantly false. So, okay, handing it to you, Lydia.
Okay, it's lie time with Lydia. Let's see. hang on. We're going to go here. And we're going to do the slideshow. Oops. Hang on. Hang on. Okay. We are starting with the fictional ridged surface. That is where the lies begin. So on page 10, they say, at some point after entering the house garage, Mr. O'Keefe was involved in a physical altercation either inside the house or garage. During that altercation, the Albert's German Shepherd attacked him, and Mr. O'Keefe sustained multiple dog bites and scratches on his right arm. He also suffered an incapacitating I don't know how to pronounce that, wound on the back of his head. Mr. O'Keefe's head wound was caused by falling backwards and striking a ridged surface. The Albert's garage contains such surfaces. By contrast, the head wound could not have been caused by a vehicle strike or falling backwards onto a flat, cold lawn like the Albert's. So there are numerous lies in just this one paragraph of point 33, but it starts with the ridged surface. So remember that in our interview with Chris Albert, we showed the ridiculous photograph that Alan Jackson, posed in front of with his little bracelets of the stairs inside the garage that had red paint from when Chris Albert was a child on it. And that was just to inflame the masses into thinking that was blood instead of red paint that's been there for 4 decades. And so that's where they came up with the ridged surface. Because if you'll recall, the original talking points of the conspiracy crowd were that there was a weight bench involved. Well, then Jackson got access to 34 Fairview for his little drama show, and he got to take this picture with this step and the old red paint on it. So then the theory morphed into the ridged surface. But the other lie in this paragraph is, by contrast, which there's nothing that's being contrasted to here. So I don't know if somebody was like having a stroke when they were writing this or what was going on. But it says, by contrast, the head wound could not have been caused by a vehicle strike or falling backwards onto a cold flat lawn like the Alberts, which of course is patently false. And we will go through that. So wait a minute. Where am I? Okay. Hang on. I'm a little off here. Can you see my Dr. Scortibello slide? Okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm in full screen mode, so it's hard to see. Okay, so what actually happened is Dr. Scortibello, at the back of John O'Keefe's skull, she found multiple fractures from a cut on the right side of his head. The injury is consistent with falling backwards and landing with his head on the frozen ground. This is what she testified to during cross-examination from defense attorney Robert Alessi, who asked Scortibello if O'Keefe should have sustained a circular wound instead of the linear one found at autopsy. Now, this was one of the moments in the trial where any of you who've had record players, this happened to Alessi quite a bit. If you've ever had an actual old record player, sometimes you had to put a penny on top to make it stop skipping. This is a Robert Alessi needed a penny on his head moment. And I'm going to show the clip because he was glitching hard during this questioning. So let's see what Scortibello actually said. I grabbed the testimony from 2024 and 2025. Sorry, one's quiet.
That you observed to the back of Mr. O'Keefe's head, skull fracture, would that be consistent with a fault?
It could be.
Would that be consistent with being projected by an object, say in a pedestrian collision, and then striking your head on the ground?
It's possible.
The arm injuries that you observed, would those be consistent with scratches from either glass or a piece of plastic or a piece of metal?
It's possible.
And remember, a medical examiner, their job is to tell you what's possible, unless you find someone, which they didn't, with a gunshot wound or something that's extremely obvious. So she's going over what's possible. So then in 2025, she says this.
Fair enough. Would a fall backwards on a flat frozen ground produce a circular and not a linear abrasion as depicted here on the back of an injured person's head?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. Assume a fall backwards on a flat frozen ground. Would such a fall and impact present that type of pattern, or would it perhaps with something like a starfish in the middle?
I'll allow that. Can you answer that? I can say that a fall backwards could very well produce that injury.
My question is more specific, and that is a fall backwards where the person impacts the back of their head on flat frozen ground. Would you expect that type of a laceration from that type of a fall? Not just a general fall backwards, but specifically a fall backwards where the back of the head hits flat frozen ground. Would you expect that?
I could, yes.
And under what circumstances could a laceration like that and an abrasion, all of it together, what circumstances could cause that type from a fall backwards on flat frozen ground?
Well, the laceration is due to the blunt impact, and so is the abrasion. The abrasion is friction. So depending on the type of surface, you mentioned flat frozen ground, it's quite possible to have an injury as the one depicted. There's nothing inconsistent with this injury and a fall on someone's on the back of the head with a blunt surface.
Are you familiar with the phrase pattern recognition in medicine?
Yes.
And
so that's where he completely glitched. So he got more specific confirmation from Irini Scortibello in 2025 with his cross-examination, more confirmation that that is how that injury happened. Then he's so rattled.
He was so mad.
He's so mad that he just he glitches and he goes into pattern recognition. He's like, well, now I'm Marie Russell. What do I do?
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking of her. He threw down his black gloves and went all Marie Russell.
I wasn't doing anything with my hands.
He's like, do you know what a hash value is?
Oh my gosh, it was so bad because it was so much more lightly gone over in the first trial. And then Bob Alessi's like, no, we're gonna get all of these testimony
pinning you down.
Yep. Okay. So let's just hit play and see what happens.
Why should I live in history, huh? Like, I don't want to know anything anymore. This is a world where nothing is solved. And someone once told me time is a flat circle. of everything we've ever done or will do, we're going to do over and over and over again. And that little boy and that little girl, they're going to be in that room again and again and again. Forever.
That's a
Oh
bad
my
show.
God. That caught me off guard.
That is
Me too. I just got so nervous. I was like,
That was
That's
a great
exactly what
show.
it feels like, though.
Such a good show. Such
I
a
love
great show.
him, by the way.
I was very
Yeah.
tired when I filmed that of myself saying that. That's what it feels like. This is what it feels like to explain this stuff over and over and over again. So I could not resist. Okay. So, we're going to have to hit play again and see what happens. Going on to Chloe.
Oh, once.
And when a dog bites, the bottom jaw with their canines grabs and anchors, and then the top pulls and tears. That's how a dog bite works, isn't it?
Sometimes, if both the upper jaw and the lower jaw actually make contact, but not always do both jaws make contact.
It's a third-prong lever, a jaw, the way it works. It traps and pulls, yes?
If there's contact, yes.
Right. And so
with both jaws.
Most animals don't just bite with their top teeth and drag.
It happens quite a bit.
What happens with frogs, right? There's no
I don't know
vernal
anything
pull in
about
the area.
frogs.
It doesn't happen with dogs. Frogs bite and pull.
They try, but they don't always contact with their lower jaw.
Did you look at the underside of Mr. O'Keefe's arm to see if there was any punctures or abrasions as an anchor that would allow the top canines to pull on this?
I did.
Yeah, and what'd you see?
I didn't see them.
that was the best. That was the best.
Yeah, I never caught the frog thing before. That was
Oh,
awesome.
Oh, that was
No.
One day we need to play just the him Hank with her. I mean,
Yes.
it's
so
hilarious.
good.
It's so funny.
You know what's even better is the Lanigan hearing with him and her.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say. Yes,
That one is
Even Lowy with her was great.
yes.
I mean, think about what she's saying. She's saying that Chloe made multiple strikes over and over and over again just with her top teeth, which is insane. Because, yeah, it's nuts.
And they're abrasions. They're not even puncture wounds. So
Right.
he's like
It's
eating
crazy.
artichoke. Like an
Crazy.
artichoke.
Crazy.
It is so crazy. It's bananas.
It's the craziest part of all of it that people believe that only a dog's top teeth scraped John O'Keefe's arm.
And
Like
no
he
dog
was
did.
frog.
This person says
What?
fraud, not frog. Why would they say
No,
frog?
he said frog. He said
Yeah.
frog.
That makes more sense.
Anyway.
I think
so-
he's just calling her a fraud.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, she is. She is.
Yeah. She definitely.
We should do a spicy.
I like
Hank
it.
special.
We
Yes.
should.
I'm all for that.
Great idea, Nosy.
Okay, so I'm actually kind of shocked that they put Chloe, the one-jawed wonder dog, into the filing at all because it's so ridiculous. But it continues to get more ridiculous as you go down the document. So speaking of time being a flat circle, on page 4, Karen says that Chloe was the German Shepherd that was in the house on January 29th, a dog that had a history of attacking other dogs and people. Now, where I come from, January 2022 is before May of 2022, but not in this Occam's hedgehog that we're reading. Because what Nicole Albert says in the first trial is that Chloe was fine with strangers. Chloe was fine with people.
Yes.
But she did have dog aggression towards other dogs.
Yes.
And what happened in May of 2022, which is after January of 2022, is that Chloe got into an altercation with another dog, and a woman who I think was the owner of one of the dogs, tried to pull the dogs apart, which is always a really bad idea because that's how you get bitten. And unfortunately, she got bitten. And so they wanted to rehome Chloe as a result of that, because obviously that's a huge liability, and that they didn't want, probably.
That actually happened to us, by the way. And I hate to even say this story. It was so traumatic, but we have a dog who is a boxer mix, and we had just moved, and he got out, and he likes to chase squirrels, and he thought a chihuahua was a squirrel.
Oh.
And a neighbor had her chihuahua on a leash. He didn't kill the chihuahua, but he did go and attack the chihuahua and bit the chihuahua. And the woman was obviously trying to break it up, and her chihuahua ended up biting her. But at the time, we didn't know who bit her, right?
Right.
And until everyone went to the vet and stuff. But yeah, you're not supposed to stick your hands in between because you will get bit. That does not mean a dog is not human friendly.
Right. And I don't think they even knew who bit the woman between
right.
the two dogs.
Which dog? Right.
Yeah, that usually happens, right? Because it's just like
right.
It's just chaos.
And she was never people aggressive. It was dogs. So I don't know where she's getting this from.
Well, it's a lie.
Right.
So she didn't have a history of attacking people at all. So that part of this statement is completely a lie. And then you just have to think also about what people do. My sister has kind of I don't know if I'd call it an aggressive dog, but the dog is a rescue and is very skittish around people. And so when people come over, you know what they do? They put the dog away. So I don't think that you would invite a whole household of people over with Chloe there if Chloe was this face-eating Stephen King dog, which she clearly wasn't.
Right. And I believe she was in the bedroom, and I think that they all testified to that. I think she was in Brian Mitchell's bedroom that when they were all there.
Right. Because he had let her out for a bit.
In the backyard. Yeah. In the backyard. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. So back to this. So let's talk about the teeth of the tail light that she is alleging. So she says he also had dog bite wounds and scratches on his right arm and forearm. Now that dog bite wounds is a direct quote from Marie Russell. But he didn't have dog bite wounds and scratches on his right arm and forearm. And Judson Welcher said, again, Alessi doing the hero's work here, eliciting this testimony from Welcher. He said the marks on O'Keefe's arms were consistent with the geometry and the orientation of the right taillight of Reed's SUV. During Welcher's testimony, Alessi asked him if O'Keefe's right arm would show vertical injuries if the arm was flexed in the manner it was in Welcher's test. Welcher says absolutely not, adding that a 6,000-pound vehicle pushes me out of the way to drag and create a horizontal laceration across the arm. It's going to sweep across the arm, which is what causes the horizontal laceration. So he didn't get his starfish, and he did not get his vertical lacerations. So he's 0 for 2 right here at this point.
And just look at John's arm and how many times Chloe would have had to strike with just her top teeth.
Yes,
I mean,
like a rattlesnake.
You're insane if you think these are dog bites, and there are no punctures, nothing on his underarm. It's only on the top of his arm.
Yep.
No way.
No way.
No.
It's the most ridiculous of all the theories.
And all the tail light pieces they're dual edged because they broke with when a circular object kind of cracks something, the shards are gonna be dual edged. So there are many things that can cause parallel abrasions, not just dogs.
Not just dogs. But what really shocked me about this part of it is I understand them trying to explain away the abrasions. That makes complete sense. Like, that's what defense attorneys do. It's the people out in the wild who are like, yeah, that's a dog. The one-jawed dog definitely did that. That's just weird to me.
And they say it like, "Are you dumb?"
I
Those
know.
are dog like,
I know.
Like no one's ever had a dog or been bitten by a dog. No one.
right.
My friend was bitten by a dog. It looked nothing like this.
No, of
There were
course not.
two. It was in the cheek here,
Yeah.
and then the under here was the the bottom teeth and his chin.
Did he bruise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he bruised it really badly. It was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they strike you. Cats and dogs both do that. They hit very hard to
Mhm.
stun, their prey or whatever they're going after, and then they, bite you.
I have seen many dog bites in my nursing career, and I have never seen anything like those ever. I mean,
And how lucky for Proctor too. Look at this. And all the witnesses who are framing Karen is with his arm bent, which, to be transparent, that photo with his arm bent, I bent that a while back in Photoshop, and I tried my best to keep all the this part aligned when you close it. But it's meant to show that nothing above one part of his arm has any injuries and nothing below a part of his wrist, right? The scrapes are right there in that heart shape that you see the broken taillight.
Yep.
So how convenient that the dog only attacked
with his upper jaw.
Right, in that exact place.
So basically what she's showing you there, it's impossible that was a dog. It makes no sense.
No, it makes no sense because it's not true.
Right.
So, okay, so now we are on to manufacturing evidence. So she says Proctor went so far as to manufacture evidence to ensure that Miss Reed, not friends and fellow law enforcement officers, was blamed for Mr. O'Keefe's death. This included planting evidence at the scene on Mr. O'Keefe's clothes and on Mrs. Reed's vehicle to support the false narrative that Miss Reed hit Mr. O'Keefe with her car, even though he knew Mr. O'Keefe's injuries were inconsistent with a motor vehicle strike and consistent with a physical altercation and a dog attack. Of course, none of this is true.
I can't. A shoe missing is a number one indicator of being struck by a vehicle.
It absolutely is. Yeah. It's insanity. Okay, so let's talk about manufacturing evidence. So we are going to go through the Sallyport lies. The first lie is specifically Proctor directed Buchanan to secure video footage from surveillance cameras located both inside and outside the Sallyport garage, which he did. And I'm going to talk about this because Hank actually went through a very detailed list of each of the videos that came into evidence and what happened to those. So I'm going to go over those in just a second, but just remember that she says specifically Proctor directed Buchanan to secure video footage because that'll be important in a second. Then she says these videos were manipulated in two significant ways. So this is the allegation that this footage was somehow tampered with. Let's hear what Hank has to say.
We can quibble.
This one's a little quiet.
Dispute, and we can go back and forth all day, but the best way is to just show you the evidence. And so when we look at the evidence, let's start first with the claim that the Sallyport videos were tampered with. Canton went back before January 29, 2022, and they took samples of the video to see if it was in the same condition, inverted for the back wall and fuzzy for the front wall. And we have those, and we turn those over to the defense, and I just wanted Your Honor to see a small clip of that to show this condition, these conditions existed before this case was even a moment. So with the court's permission, I'm going to ask to put up exhibit number 2. Exhibit number 2 shows the inverted camera from January 1st, 2022. Now this is 28 days before Ms. Reed's Lexus hits the Sallyport area. Now you can see, if you stop that, thank you very much. On that wall, on that garage wall, there's a 4. It is backwards. This Sallyport video was not doctored by Trooper Proctor. It wasn't altered by Trooper Buchanan. It was in existence well before Miss Reed's car showed up to that Sally Port. Similarly, front wall camera, could you please put on exhibit 3? Exhibit 3 is from January 28, 2022, a day before Miss Reed's vehicle makes it to the Sally Port. And you can see the quality. It wasn't distorted on purpose. It wasn't manipulation by the state police. And this is the way the camera worked in Canton. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm sorry some of these clips are a little bit quiet. You're just going to have to turn up the volume when they come on. There's something weird about law and crime. But so she's alleging that these tampering incidents happen. So the grainy, weird footage on the motion activated camera, she says is tampering. So he's showing you, no, it's not. It was like this before any of this ever happened. And the video from the other camera was also flipped horizontally, which is a very common motion activated camera setting, or just any surveillance camera, long before her car ever came to the Sally Port. So this is not manipulation. None of this had anything to do with Karen Reed, and he proved that in just a few seconds. So then she says, first, a critical 42-minute portion was deleted from the footage from the Sally Port front wall camera, the portion from 5:08 p.m. to 5:50 p.m., which included the exact time Mrs. Reed's Lexus arrived in the garage and the period Proctor was at the passenger side tail light. Again, the precision with which this conspiracy was carried out is something else. But what she's talking about is the front wall camera is the one that's all distorted and it's motion activated. So nothing was deleted. There was just nothing to pick up in that time period. However, there is footage of what she says was missing. And here is that footage. And you don't need sound for this, but this is her car arriving at the Sally Port. And you can see by the antique car in the foreground that it's inverted. And we're not in England, and that's the driver getting out on this side of the vehicle. So it should be pretty obvious to anybody who lives in America that that is the driver's side of the car, but it's not. That's a very hard concept for Alan Jackson. So give him a little leeway.
Can we turn out the lights, please, Dave? Thank you.
Yes, Dave, turn out the lights. So this is right when she says, oh my gosh, this is when this arrived at the garage and there's no footage of it. Well, there is footage of it and you're watching it. And it also shows Proctor kind of walking behind the car, which Buchanan testifies to as well. So she says this footage would have shown that the taillight was intact, which of course it would not have shown that the taillight was intact because the taillight wasn't intact. So you might have to turn up the volume on this one.
Is exculpatory. It's exculpatory because what they claim is that it would show that Miss Reed's taillight was cracked, not missing a piece. Now, first thing we look at is Nick Barros' testimony. And if you have an opportunity to look at his testimony on page 12, line 1, the defendant told you part of the story. I saw there was some damage to the rear taillight. To my best ability and recollection, that taillight was not completely damaged. It was cracked. But they forgot the next part. And there, pause, a piece missing, but not completely damaged. That's exactly how we see Miss Reed's car later on after it is at Canton. The entire taillight is not missing. There is a piece missing. That piece, where the fractures of it are found at 34 Fairview, right near Mr. O'Keefe's body. The same parts of the taillight fragments that are found in the sleeve of his shirt. And so it's not simply cracked. Even the witness they tried to lean on, Mr. Barros, says more. And so if that taillight is not just cracked, that taillight is missing. then there is nothing exculpatory whatsoever about the Canton video. It's a red herring because there can be no plant of fractured taillight if it's already gone before it gets to Canton. There can't be.
Yep. Barros again with the save. So I wanted to just do a little exercise for everybody. So on the left is the footage that was shown at trial, a still frame from it. You can see in the foreground, police is backwards and the driver is getting out. So again, we're not in England. I don't know why Alan Jackson can't figure this out. But then if you look on the right, I flipped it horizontally in Photoshop, and magically nothing in the image changes, except now you're driving on the American side and the word police is in the correct orientation. So back when all this happened, I did a little illustration of what people who can't understand this think. So I'm an image of this lovely young woman. Totally. But then if you're in Free Karen Read, what you think happens is she turns around, she's a different person, and she's wearing different clothes. But that's not actually what happens.
Well, it's so wild because they villainized and dehumanized all these people, right? All these witnesses and the officers, to the point where they're like, aha, the investigator is standing near the murder weapon investigating. And it's like, oh my God, they were trying to hide that from us. It's like, that's how coached this narrative was over and over and over, to the point where people think that's bizarre. Right. And that it was being hidden. And it's like, he's just walking around the car, looking at the car. I mean, there's not even, remember when they thought there was a hammer?
Yeah, they was like hitting the back of it.
There was like someone with a broom or something walking around. They're like, that's a hammer. So it just goes to show like how the narrative really impacts people and how they perceive things.
You know, it's crazy though, like just listening to Brennan when he was, given the explanation, and he literally showed the videos of the Sally Port from, I don't even remember how long before. It's the exact same. He showed the quality. It's the exact same. That's how it's always been at Canton PD.
Yep.
And that just gets blown into the wind. Like no one even listens to it. No one talks about it. It's amazing to me.
And Lieutenant testified that when the car comes into the Sally Port, the only person with access to the vehicle was the tow truck driver that you saw. And one thing he's English and the other one he's American, but he's getting out of the car. He leaves the keys, obviously. So he's the only person who's been inside the vehicle. Then they do the police tape after that. And Buchanan testifies they did not touch that vehicle. Mm-hmm. So because the next step is the processing of the vehicle.
Yes, right.
The technicians. So they couldn't touch the vehicle, but you can walk around it and put your little eyeball on the broken taillight if you want.
You can.
Mm-hmm. So anyway.
Yeah, that picture is hilarious.
That cracks me up.
Okay. So then she says, additionally, upon information and belief, CPD set its auto delete function for saving certain surveillance videos from the Sally Port to 30 days, therefore assuring the immediate destruction of likely additional exculpatory evidence. Now, in my world, 30 days is not immediate, but I don't know what is going on in Karen's brain. But she says they set it to 30 days so that it would immediately destroy additional exculpatory evidence. But I'm gonna show you how that happened anyway.
Well, Karen also thought that she was immediately deleting her signal notifications, and
she sure did. She's wrong a lot, actually. The 30-day auto delete setting conflicts with the fact that CPD videos were shared with the defense over the course of 3 years. which is kind of interesting because she's arguing against herself here, as you will see in a moment. Therefore, either the setting was changed, so she's got 3 years worth of footage, but they're traveling back in time to change the setting to delete in 30 days from January of 2022 to prevent a defense expert who would come along 2 years later auditing the footage. Like, see how twisted this is? Which is when the 30-day setting was discovered, which is also not true. Or the footage was obtained within 30 days of January 29th and withheld from the defense. So,
poor Karen.
The video is on a 30-day overwrite, Your Honor. We all now know that. We didn't know that before just a few weeks ago. I don't expect that the Commonwealth knew that either.
Oh, no. Alan Jackson just said that neither the defense nor the prosecution knew on March 5th of 2025 that they were set to auto-delete for 30 days. I bet she's big mad and called him a pervert over that. So what actually happened, Hank went through in great detail. I won't go through in great detail. But basically, prosecutors did not know about any of these Sallyport videos before trial 1. So leading up to trial 1, they had no requests from the defense. Michael Proctor, who had requested the video, knew about the video, but the Commonwealth did not. In January of 2022, DG and Petro downloaded the video from the front wall camera, which is that blurry, distorted camera, and the camera in front of the police department. He gave it to Buchanan, who did not view it, and gave it to Proctor for his file. In 2023, in June, Proctor makes a second request to Gianpetro for outside camera footage, exterior Sallyport video. He asked Buchanan to pick it up and bring it to him. And again, Buchanan brings it to him without viewing it. It was just like a CD with a Post-it on it. Proctor says, go get it. Buchanan gets it, gives it to Proctor. It goes in his file. So nobody has seen this. Then he testifies before the federal grand jury that he reviewed video. Proctor did. So when Lally heard this at the grand jury, he asked Proctor about the video and asked for it. So even at the federal grand jury, Lally is still the first person to ask for the video. The defense did not ask for it. On April 4th of 2024, he receives the video, the front wall blurry camera, and the outside footage, and he gives it to the defense. But at this time, they're still unaware of the video from Proctor's second request. Yannetti complains about the quality of that front wall video, the blurry intermittent one. So then Rafferty asks Gianpetro for more video. So then he goes and he downloads the inverted video. So now it's obvious that they had these videos and they weren't 30-day deleted. So that kind of refutes that whole theory. He downloads the inverted video, and that's given to Lally and the defense in April of 2024. But prosecutors still don't know about the June production at that point. After the first trial, Colleen Crawford went to the Sallyport, looked at the DVR system, saw the video still existed. There was a 30-day overwrite, but there were backup hard drives. She wrote an extensive report about this and gave it to the prosecution and defense. So here in 2026, to be claiming that is ridiculous and false. In August of 2024, she provided the hallway video that contained the video of Higgins in the police station. This was found to have been downloaded, saved during the trial. When Brennan received this, it was turned over immediately. So what was happening is they were doing manual backups of these videos, and there was a guy at CPD who was doing that. In November of 2024, the defense asked Brennan for a chain of custody of the video. So he invites the defense team to come to Canton PD. He went there himself. He toured the station. He learned how the DVRs work. He talked to the sergeant who told him he would click and drag and save the videos, and that's why they have the video. And he asked the Commonwealth to look for all files so that he could review and document all of the video. He asked Tully and Buchanan to write reports to document the history of all video, and that is when the June production that was still in Proctor's file was found and turned over to the defense. So this is so boring, but this is what happened, and every single thing she said about it was a lie. And then, so just, just reiterating the timeline and how impossible this is, I will play this little clip.
Did you obtain video of outside the
I'm gonna play this
Sallyport to show what time the tow truck arrived with the defendant's Lexus?
Yes, I did.
May I approach?
Yes.
And you would actually recognize it.
Yes, I did.
What is it?
It's a disc containing CPD exterior Sallyport video.
Okay, this is please. No objection.
Oops. I don't know what just happened. Sorry.
Did you obtain video from the front driveway of the Canton Police Department depicting the arrival of the defendant's Lexus?
Yes.
May I approach again, Your Honor?
Yes.
And you another item? Do you recognize this, sir?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
It's a Canton PD driveway video.
And is this a copy of the video you obtained?
Yes, it is.
I'll move this to evidence. No objection.
Exhibit 127.
Do you recall when you arrived with the defendant's Lexus on January 29, 2022, what time you reached the Sallyport?
To the best of my recollection, it was 5:35 p.m. is when the vehicle was placed into the Sallyport.
When you left Dighton after the tow truck lifted the defendant's Lexus and put it on the tow truck, did you follow the tow truck back to Canton?
Yes, I did.
Did the tow truck stop at any point between Dighton and Canton Police Department?
Other than red traffic lights, no.
When you were following, how were you following the tow truck?
I was keeping a safe distance, always keeping line of sight behind the vehicle. I was following it from Dighton residence all the way to Canton PD.
Was Michael Proctor with you in your truck?
Yes, he was.
Did you take any detours on your trip back to the Canton Police Department?
No, we followed the truck driver. He led the way.
At any point, did you take any turns to Fairview Road?
No.
Did you know whether or not there was a CERT team at Fairview Road searching while you were driving back to the Canton Police Department?
I knew one was dispatched, yes.
Did you go to Fairview Road to speak to any of the CERT team members?
No.
Did you watch the CERT team members conduct their search?
No, I did not.
In any way, did you, at any point during that search, see it happening?
No, I did not, no.
When the CERT team members were there, do you remember that they arrived at 4:54 and 4:56?
I don't have a specific memory, but I know that they arrived sometime between that hour.
When you arrived at the Sallyport, at the Canton Police Department with the defendant's Lexus, what was your understanding of where the CERT team was?
My understanding was they were at 34 Fairview.
When you first arrived around 5:37 at the Canton Police Department, were any members of the CERT team at the Canton Police Department?
I'll allow it. Lay your foundation.
Now, I asked you, do you remember about what time you got back to the Canton Police Department? Do you know specifically what time you got back?
I know we pulled in to the driveway at 5:30 p.m.
Did you see some of the timestamps that you have shown on cross-examination?
Yes.
Did you see the timestamp 5:37:18 when it was shown to you by the defense?
Yes.
At that time when you were arriving and bringing the defendant's Lexus into the Sallyport, was there any CERT team members at the Canton Police Department?
No.
Were there any troopers who were speaking to you or receiving items or evidence from you or Trooper Proctor?
Absolutely not.
Was there any items exchanged between you or Trooper Proctor and anybody else for that matter that you saw?
No.
While you were at the Canton Police Department in the Sallyport area, do you remember how long you stayed in that area?
Okay, I'm going to pause here. So he basically asked him if, they're sprinkling taillight, that they were handed surreptitiously from the CERT team, et cetera. And obviously they were not. So that's just kind of the general timeline. This I'm inserting because it is a random thing from the phone extraction that I saw today. And it is a woman in Canton who alleges that the vehicle was towed from Dighton directly to a body shop by someone that Brian Albert knew. And this is where all the taillight shenanigans happened. Not even joking. This is what's going on. And So this makes it into, surprise, a blog post by Aiden, which is over on the right-hand side, mentioning the guy's name that supposedly has the secret body shop that, did all the taillight work immediately from Dighton, even though there's, they followed the vehicle all the way to the Sally Port. Somehow they stopped at this body shop. But what's interesting about this blog post is the date of it. So she sends this email on May 31st, 2023. Remember in the other, when we ran through the other Karen Reed files where he was saying, I'm out of material. What you got? I need some new material. I've said everything. This is the date that he publishes this tip from Rando Patricia in Canton, making stuff up and sending it to Aiden. And she also says, don't use it unless you can corroborate. I can't have it traced back to me. Maybe don't give it to Aiden if you don't want it traced back to you. I don't know. Just a suggestion. Let me see.
Take is for one rogue to just walk a few feet away from the others. It's windy, it's dark, it's freezing, and just drop it and say, guys, we got something over here. That's all it takes.
Guys, we got something over here.
Guys, we're sprinkling taillight. And then she's like scratching herself like a lunatic. That is her theory of how the taillight got sprinkled. Guys.
It's absurd.
I mean, can you imagine how many people would have to be complicit in that for that to happen?
Does she think that the CERT team would not realize that the shards of glass or plastic were not cold?
She's not thinking like that.
Like they were under snow. I mean, they're going to know the difference between shards of plastic that had packed snow on them versus something that's just sprinkled.
Not only that, I mean, there was a camera crew there. WBC News was there.
Right.
They had the search team on camera. Michael Proctor wasn't like flying over everyone, dropping. Like, what are you even talking about? Like, what are these people talking about?
But he was flying around planting pieces of glass on the
like a fairy.
Like a fairy. Yeah, because he couldn't touch the vehicle. So he's obviously flying around like a fairy, putting a piece of glass somehow from the CERT team onto the bumper of her SUV. He planted it to make it look like these shards originated from a cocktail glass that he was holding when he exited the Waterfall Bar. Apparently, he didn't plan on Karen Reed's attorneys insisting on forensic testing on the glass shards, which showed that they did not match the cocktail glass in O'Keefe's possession. So this is Alan Jackson playing with words, with the word match specifically. Yeah. So I'll show you a little example of that. And then she says they originated from 5 different sources. That is not true. And then she said one shard of glass on the bumper did match another piece of glass that had been in Proctor's possession during the investigation.
Oh my God, I didn't notice that.
The only way for the glass to have ended up on the SUV bumper is that Proctor planted it there in an attempt to connect the vehicle to the death of Mr. O'Keefe, which means he would have had to go there, burrow under snow before the CERT team got there, fly out with the glass, break it, replant it for the CERT team to find it while simultaneously putting it on the bumper.
I have another theory about how it ended up on the bumper.
I do too. I think your theory is absurd.
You're stupid.
It's so crazy.
That's dumb.
So someone that we all love on Twitter, I don't want to say the account name because it's a private account, but basically did this chart with all the pieces that Maureen Hartnett identified.
Oh,
and
wow.
And it's really interesting because she categorized this so well. She said, so in blue, they were not tested, they were too small, etc. If it's in orange, that means it fit physically. It's matched like a puzzle piece. If it's red, there is no fit or match, which makes sense if you think about how glass breaks. You're not going to be able to put it all together like a puzzle because some of it's too small or you haven't recovered everything or whatever. But then same is consistent material properties, and that means the ones that were microscopically inspected and found to have the same physical characteristics. And 33E and 714 are those two matches. So it was the one on the bumper with the one that was collected at the scene. So anyway, it's just a great visual.
Yeah, it really is.
Mm-hmm. So then this is my last topic. She said that Mr. O'Keefe did not have a single injury consistent with being struck by a vehicle. No broken bones, even a bruise on legs, feet, arms, etc., or anywhere below his neck that a medical examiner would otherwise expect to find on a person struck and killed.
You've talked a lot about this photograph. Do you see it?
I do, sir, yes.
And you described, well, you didn't describe, you read that these were superficial abrasions, correct?
That's the diagnosis, yes, sir.
Any of those wounds a puncture in your mind?
I don't make medical diagnoses, so I'm not going to comment on that, sir.
Well, you talk about x-rays and injury, and they don't make medical diagnosis. But you were very careful to be detailed about what this was. Not a laceration, right? It is a superficial abrasion.
That was what was diagnosed by the medical records, yes, sir.
You were very careful to make that distinction when you were critiquing Dr. Wells.
Sustained.
And so you also looked at x-rays, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
And when you looked at them, you try to give the impression that you've read them, even though you're not a doctor and you can interpret them.
Sustained.
Were you trying to interpret them for us?
No, it was actually interpreted by the medical examiner that there were no acute injuries.
So when you were giving all that information to the jury about the x-rays, was that your personal opinion, or were you just regurgitating something you had read?
That was the medical examiner's opinion, but certainly you can look at the x-rays and see that there are no actual fracture lines or space displacement between the joints. But it's the medical examiner and his diagnoses that I rely upon.
So when you were going through an explanation of all these different photographs and x-rays, you weren't trying to portray that you were giving your own personal opinion about it?
I don't get diagnosis, but if there's no fractures on an x-ray is diagnosed by an MD or physician, you can look at the x-ray and then you can see why there are no fractures. You can look at the x-ray and see where the fractures are if there's a diagnosis. So the diagnosis was no fracture, no acute injury, and that's certainly consistent with looking at the x-ray itself.
So when you were looking up the x-ray and holding it up, was that just a prop? I mean, were you simply just regurgitating what you read in the report? Were you doing a certain kind of, were you doing any kind of analysis yourself when you were sharing with us what those x-rays showed or didn't show?
The analysis is that there's no fracture or acute injury, and that's what the medical diagnosis is, and that's what the x-rays showed.
Are you giving us your opinion, or are you regurgitating what you read in a report?
That is what the medical diagnosis is, that there's no fractures and no acute injuries. That's what the medical opinion is.
So you're regurgitating what's in the report?
Sustained enough.
Did you see any MRIs?
I don't believe any MRIs were taken or performed.
In x-rays, does it depict deep soft tissue damage?
Normally, it does not depict soft tissue damage, no.
How about muscle tears?
No, it does not.
How about tendon tears?
Not normally, except you can see laxity in the joints if there is tendon or ligament tears. Normally, you can see laxity in the joints, but it doesn't show the ligament or the tendon itself.
Nerve injuries?
No, sir.
Avulsion fractures?
Yes, sir.
People sometimes get MRIs to see if there's a fracture that doesn't appear in an x-ray. Yes?
Sometimes x-rays are the best for looking at bony fractures. MRIs looking at soft tissue injuries.
Yeah, so obviously you can have a myriad of acute injuries that don't show up on an x-ray. And
That's
the
so
final
interesting.
Yeah.
Like, especially because he said, I remember so adamantly, like, there is no soft tissue damage at all, like, per this x-ray. And then it's like, oh, well, yeah, you can't see all this other, you can't, that's not used for soft tissue damage analysis. Like, it's maddening.
And then I think he also mentioned, I mean, really quickly, I know he mentioned, I don't know if it was with him or I think it might have been La Posada. You know, you can have a car hit. I mean, Darrell Brooks, I think, I could be wrong. I think he hit 69 people, 70 people. Yeah. There was anything from no injuries to a bruise, to a broken leg, to a broken hand, to concussion, to death by, I think, 6 people he killed, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. This discussion is so crazy to me when people get into it like that. I mean, I know someone who was hit by a car at Legacy Place in Dedham. The car literally ran into her. She flew up on the sidewalk. I mean, she drove home 20 minutes later. Like, there are different, and everybody knows that. Everybody knows that.
Right.
And John wasn't killed by the impact of the car. And I feel like that's what people like totally like they get so confused over. It's like, no, he was clipped. So he
It was
it
the
was
head
wet
injury.
outside. It was, I mean, we just don't know, but we
Yes.
saw the dummy doll be clipped, and that
Yes.
arm shattered that taillight and did exactly what the
Right.
Commonwealth asserted happened.
It's
So-
like her rage reverse hit him, just like if someone punched him and he hit his head on the ground. Like, we're not saying her car is the one that ran him over. Like, that's what they're all pretending. That's not what's being said.
And I would argue those injuries to his arm were pretty serious, but apparently Rentschler couldn't see those on an x-ray, said they don't exist. But you also have to remember that he, when people talk about no bruising, from, possibly, hitting his knee or whatever, he was literally in ice and snow, just like you do for any other injury. So if you want to prevent bruising and swelling, you put ice on your injury. And unfortunately, that's what happened. I mean, look at the temperature. He didn't have a chance to bruise. He didn't have a chance to have swelling, with the exception of that pressure inside his head causing what you saw on his face. But it's just...
I don't really know how many bruises he would have even had if he had gotten clipped and flew and slammed on his head. I mean, what he died from was, his brain injury, right?
Right.
That's a pretty big injury.
Yeah. And it's just so silly to anybody who's ever been injured to say that you don't, the only way you can see an acute injury is on an x-ray. I mean, anybody who's sprained an ankle knows that's not true.
Getting beat up leaves bruises. Getting bit by a dog also leaves bruises.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is the most rational, logical explanation right there? It would be that he was outside. His blood was constricted in that cold weather, which hindered any onset bruising in those areas. That's the most logical.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh, she's gone again.
You're gone, Tuesday.
Can you hear me at least? Can you?
Yeah, we can hear
me?
Yeah. Are you next, Julie, or is it
Carrie?
You can or you can't?
Oh, it's
you
Carrie.
can. Okay. Oh my
Am I
god.
next or who's next?
You're next.
You are. Okay.
I
Mine's really
don't know
quick
what's
because
going on.
I feel like mine has been just talked about as so I'm going to start with why don't I start with Jen's deleted calls. I think I have a clip there. I'll talk first for a second about it, and then I'm pretty sure I have a Jessica Hyde clip if we can play that after. So hold on a second. So obviously everybody knows there's the claim that they didn't mention a lot of this in the first motion. So I guess they thought that they had to bring it back again and re-resurrect her deleted calls and also 227. So the deleted calls were repeatedly presented as, incriminating and Jen McCabe's wrongdoing and her planning and her, the conspiracy kind of planning. And she was deleting the calls that she was making all night. Amplified by Aidan Kearney and then screamed ad nauseum by all his followers for years that she deleted all her phone calls. But there's no evidence of any deleted calls with her. So usually, you have to have selected removal, user interaction, timestamps, and discrepancies between the device and the carrier records. And none of that exists here because no calls were deleted. iPhones, which is what Jen McCabe have, they don't maintain an unlimited call history. If you look in your iPhone, a lot of people don't, and most people text now, right? So you don't have a gazillion calls anymore. But if you look in your iPhone, you see, I think most iPhones and Jen's that iPhone that she had at that time stored 100 calls, right? So if you look at Jen's phone, you could go and count like 100 calls that she has on her phone. Her phone that day was so active that morning. She received just a high volume of incoming and outgoing calls because multiple people were reaching out to her. So her calls went over the 100, so they started dropping off, which is standard system behavior by Apple, and it's not user intervention.
Mary, can I interrupt you for just a second?
Yeah.
It's actually it was 200 calls.
Okay, 200. Sorry. Yeah. So
yeah, it was 200 because I know people are gonna like pick that up and be like,
yes,
"Oh my God,
no,
it's
sure.
200." It was
You're
200.
Right, you're right. Yes. So hers were 200. So she got and received more than 200 calls in that day, which is not, look what had just happened to all of them, right? So her calls dropped off. Secondly, the carrier records don't disappear. So her Verizon records, I'm pretty sure she has Verizon, but regardless, even if it was AT&T, if those calls were deleted in her phone, they would still be on the carrier records.
Right.
And the investigators had access to all those records the FBI had years of iCloud data obtained through their investigation. So if there were any deleted or concealed calls or anything like that, they would appear in the carrier records and they would be deleted on her phone. That did not happen. They did not find anything like that.
Right.
There's also no pattern of selected deletion. So it's just the absence of older calls, which is entirely consistent with automatic log rollover, right? What we just talked about. They just fall off. It's not, she didn't delete those. It's not a removal of specific entry. It's not user doesn't do it. So it's just ordinary phone behavior. If they had been deleted, they'd still exist in the carrier records. They don't. I think another huge thing to point out, which enough people don't talk about, is Jen McCabe voluntarily turned over her phone number, right? I think I would have to ask for this, but she may have even offered her phone to them. But I know she voluntarily turned it over, which is inconsistent. Like if she was trying to conceal a cover up, whatever, no one hands their phones over. Hence Aidan Kearney and Karen Reed fighting their phones now for 3 years.
Exactly.
So, I think, I don't know, hopefully that made sense. It's just.
Right. And the
software calls.
Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you can. The software update was parsing everything in a particular way. So deletions were showing up as moved, the phone operating, moving things in folders not manually, automatically. And
Right. And I'm pretty sure, I think Ian Whiffen or Ian Jessica may be deleted. Like Jen McCabe could not move calls into different folders and different, she doesn't have, I know she's the Countess of Conspiracies and she's, all powerful, but she doesn't know how to do that.
Yeah. Right.
So do you want to play Jessica Hyde for me?
Yes.
Analyze the call logs and the phone logs on the device that I was given, that I was told belonged to Miss McCabe, yes.
Would a suggestion or a claim that a user deleted irregularly a number of phone calls, would that be accurate or inaccurate in your experience?
It is inaccurate in this instance.
Can you explain to us why and how you came to that conclusion?
Yeah, this is actually really interesting because of what it appears in the forensics tools and additional artifacts that I looked at that are not parsed by the forensics tools. So the call logs, when you look at it, it appears, I don't remember if it's 8:57 or 8:59 a.m. in my mind at the moment, but approximately either 8:57 or 8:59 is the earliest phone call we see on the 29th of January. We see no call logs before, but we do see FaceTime logs before. So if an examiner, again, was making assumptions without testing or reviewing, the first assumption might be, well, things must have been deleted because there's data that exists before, but not current data. So then you have to go, how do phone logs work? And again, create test data and review. What the situation here is that there are 3 types of call logs on this particular phone. There's regular calls, incoming and outgoing. There are FaceTime video chats, incoming and outgoing, and FaceTime audio chats, incoming and outgoing. The storage for that is actually 200 records. So you can only store up to 200 of each. Now, if you were a user of, let's say, WhatsApp or Signal or Telegram, those would each count too, and they'd get their own logs. So when we look at the database for the number of calls between 8:59 a.m. or 8:57, again, I apologize, I'm not looking at that precise time, on the 29th of January in 2022, there are exactly 200 calls still in that record from then until the imaging of the phone. There are 199 FaceTime video calls and only 27 FaceTime audio calls. So the question is, how do you validate that that's what's happening? So we actually have call logs that we can pick up in other places for recent call logs in the last 7 to 30 days, depending on the exact version of the device and how the biomes are running. We can actually see incoming call logs, the number they go to, and if they're incoming or outgoing in the biomes. So we actually can see the history going back for the entirety of that day on January 29th till midnight. Again, my scope was from midnight until noon. So we can actually see all of the calls. They're just not all in the call history state DB. Now, the call history state DB, from a user perspective, that button on your phone doesn't say call history. It actually says recents. And what it's determining as recents is the most recent 200 of each category. Now, how did I determine this further? There is a running log that exists in a phone. It lasts about 3 days. It's called the unified log. The unified log tracks multiple things that are happening on the phone. In manual analysis of the unified log, from this phone, I can clearly see each time a 201st call comes in, the 200th call gets deleted. So it's constantly just the last 200 calls. It may not be typical that we see 200 calls in 3 days, but on this device, we do see 200 regular phone calls in the 3 days between 8:59 a.m. on the 29th and when the phone was imaged.
Do you have an opinion to a reasonable degree of scientific certainty whether there was any user deletions from the phone call log that morning?
Yes.
And what is that opinion?
The opinion is that I can see that it's done by the device itself utilizing unified logs, that the system is deleting the 201st call every time a new call is received or outgoing.
Thank you. I have no.
So, she said, I mean, I don't know what anyone else would need to hear besides Jessica Hyde right there. First of all, she's so cute.
I love her.
She's so cute and she's brilliant, right? So she also corrected me when I was saying earlier the 200 calls were in that day, which makes even more sense. Jen didn't give her a phone, I think, until the 2nd. So it's 200 calls from the 29th to the 2nd when she gave her phone. And I didn't even need to talk. I could have just played that clip. I mean, she just explained that brilliantly. Mm-hmm. And that anyone still says Jen McCabe deleted calls after hearing that testimony, you're literally a lunatic. You're a lunatic. I mean, this woman is, I think she's the #1 or the #2 digital forensic in the United States. She just explained what happened. And it happens not only to Jen McCabe's phone, it happens to everyone's phone. Most of us don't get 200 calls, right? I mean, I remember I was looking at my phone after and counting all my calls. I don't even think mine went up to that. So a lot of people's phones don't flip out, they don't, whatever, in that short period of time. Mm-hmm. But hers did. It is what it is that day. And I mean, she is so steadfast. Did you see when he asked her? She was like, no. I mean, she did not delete her phone calls.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
She is.
I love her.
She is the former forensic director of Axiom.
Yes.
I hope I said that right. So people would be like, well, Axiom, their system pulls up, a different way than Cellbrite's does. And I don't know if it was Whiffen or if it was Hyde that went over that, but they explained all of that in detail and how the reason for their extractions are set up differently and what kind of professionals use them and whatnot. So,
right.
Just phenomenal experts that the Commonwealth had.
Right. Yeah. And then on this new amended motion. And the first one, 227, wasn't. In this one, they actually said something interesting. They said the House defendants were Googling 227. So I don't know why they didn't name Jen McCabe. So maybe they're gonna try to say Brian Higgins stole her phone or something that night, and he's the one that Googled it. But that's also been explained. I mean, ad nauseam, Ian Whiffen, it was the time that the browser was open. She Googled it at 6:20, I can't remember the times, but I have a clip of Ian Whiffen explaining it beautifully if you guys want to play that.
So it's a little bit of a longer clip. I think it's
so not the demo. I feel like we should.
The other one.
Yeah, I think the other one might be better. The demo. I mean, if we want to play the demo, we could maybe put it on our.
Yeah, we can put it.
We're kind of running out of time, but we could put it on our channel after. If any of you guys, I watched it again. I hadn't seen it in a while. It's really interesting to watch. It's only like 8 minutes, but I feel like I know Free Karen Reed people didn't see this, but he literally shows how it exactly happens on the screen in court. It's pretty amazing to watch. How when she opened at 2:27 in the morning when she was googling Hockenbach Sports, she opened the same tab that morning when Karen asked her to Google it, and he shows exactly how it happens. I mean, you can watch it happen, so it's pretty cool to see.
Is the clip you want played named Isn't Whiffen Demo?
No, it's the other one. Clips together that.
Yeah, the clips together.
Okay, got it.
Kyle?
No.
Why not?
I believe the evidence is all out and in part from Ian Whiffen.
Are you still disputing the 227? Or, I mean, the 6 o'clock? The timestamp of Jenna?
That's been addressed.
Are you still...
And sir, when you were trying to examine these searches that in your opinion were 6:23 and 6:24 a.m., did you ever try to test it yourself and actually take a phone so you could either prove or disprove to yourself that earlier timestamp didn't mean it was the time that it was searched?
Oh, definitely, yes. That's the kind of thing that I do all the time when verifying artifacts.
And in your opinion, is that helpful in understanding how a timestamp earlier could relate to a later search?
Exactly, very helpful.
Did you learn that a consumer had called about a question relative to a report produced by the software?
Yes, there was both the troopers who had requested information about this particular artifact and also a private forensics examiner, Richard Green.
And when Richard Green reached out to your company, what specifically was the question or issue?
He reached out to the tech support team, asking basically if there's a timestamp that doesn't make sense. I need to understand what this timestamp means.
And can you share with us what was the issue? What was the question that you were actually looking into?
The question was related to a timestamp of 2:27:40 a.m. And an internet query that appeared to have occurred at that time. There was no other information on the device that suggested that internet query had occurred at that time. So we wanted to know how relevant is that timestamp to when the query happened. So I was able to take test devices, recreate test data to find out exactly what this timestamp meant, and discovered that it was actually the timestamp that the tab within the browser was brought into focus and had no relevance to when the actual web query had been made.
So after you looked into the issue and came to a determination or opinion, did you reach back out to Mr. Green?
Eventually, yes, I did. After I provided information to the troopers, I wrote a blog that covered this information because there was another examiner in Europe who had a very similar question, and I realized that this is a relatively common point of confusion. And then eventually I reached out to Richard Green, offering to speak to him about this issue and clear up any confusion, but never received a response.
You showed us a tab that was opened at 2:27:40, and it had something to do with Hockenbach Sports?
Yes.
In your opinion, to a reasonable degree of scientific certainty, was that the same tab, that 2:27:40 tab open for Hockenbach Sports, was that the same tab that later was used for searches or attempted searches at 6:23:51 and at 6:24 relative to how long or how's long to die in cold?
I believe it was, yes.
Was your opinion limited to analysis of reports generated by companies like Celebrite or Axiom?
It wasn't, no. I went into the data, looked at the various different databases, different files that were in use, tested it across many different devices to make sure that my understanding and analysis of it was correct.
And finally, those attempted searches at 6:23, 6:24, you mentioned that information at some point was deleted from the phone?
The only records that were deleted were the browser state database records. Yeah, they were deleted from the device.
Do you have an opinion to a reasonable degree of scientific certainty whether or not that information was removed as a natural application of the phone, or was it because somebody took the phone and actually deleted it by hand?
So again, I don't believe it's possible, given the situation and the information that's available, that it would have been possible for the user to delete it.
In your studies and in your position, is there any viable dispute in the forensic data scientific community about that issue?
I don't believe there is anymore.
Now, you got involved in this case because you received a complaint from a consumer.
I received a question from a consumer, yes.
And you attempted to resolve that?
Correct.
Okay.
Sustained is to confirm.
Other than that source, have you received any information, feedback, opinions that would make this issue in any way a dispute?
Yeah, I received a very similar question from an examiner in Europe. Fairly similar circumstances with a case and with a timestamp that didn't make sense, that was originating from the same database. I applied the same logic and theory to his question, and he confirmed it solved the issue for him. It all made sense then.
And since then, has in your world, academic and research world, forensic data science, other than the
Did we just, okay. I was like, are we frozen? So yeah, I mean, same with Ian Whiffen. I mean, I don't know what else would need to be said about 227. There wasn't a digital forensic examiner in the world that was going to come into that trial and challenge 227. It just wasn't going to happen. That's why they didn't mention, I don't know why they just resurrected it. I can only think that they felt pressure to. I know that the minions like it. But you know, I think it's pretty well put to rest. I don't think this will ever get to trial, her case against the witnesses. But if it did, I don't think it will, but if it did, I mean, you would never hear 227 mentioned, just like you didn't in the,
right.
in the first, in the second trial.
Isn't it interesting too how they bring up the data, that data, and they avoid all the other data?
Yes.
And that data has been like,
I can't believe they resurrected it.
what it actually means.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I have one last thing, and then I'll turn it over to Julie. In the new amended complaint, they say that the lead investigator for the MSP, Michael Proctor, grew up in Canton and resides there to this day. He has been and remains close personal friends with the Albert family. So Jeannie made me a chart. Can you put that up for me? Okay. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people who were in the house on January 29th, which is also funny because Karen Reed is only suing how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So, which is kind of strange, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so none of them had a relationship with Michael Proctor prior to January 29th. So like Lydia said, it's just full of lies. That's just another one. None of them have had any relationship with Michael Proctor. The only connection with Michael Proctor is his sister, who is friends with Brian Albert's brother's wife's sister. And therefore, you know, she became friendly with with the wife and Chris and Julie. But none of these people on this screen knew Michael Proctor before January 29th, 2022. So that is just a complete and utter lie in their new amended motion, which they like to use all the time.
When I was making this, I had to sit and think about that last thing for a while.
Right?
Friends with Brian Albert's brother's wife's sister.
Yes.
I kept going through my mind, like trying to make the connection.
Yes.
It's
Yes. So, I mean, the connection is Proctor's sister and Chris's wife's sister. Right. Yeah. That's the connection.
Yeah.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah, the brother's wife's sister. I mean, when I want to do a conspiracy, I always choose my friend's brother's wife's sister because then nobody will ever figure it out.
Yes. I mean, because why wouldn't Michael Proctor crack a woman's taillight and run over to 34 Fairview and sprinkle it all over the yard for his sisters?
Friends,
brothers.
Yeah. I know we've mentioned this before, but you have to have a level of insane vanity to think all these people are framing you.
Yes.
Why would they choose you to frame? It's just it's so
because you're that special. That's what she thinks. She is that special.
They just knew you were going to reverse that night. They just knew it.
Do you guys, one more thing before Julie takes over. Did you know when I was reading this, I don't know how I didn't know this, but I never really kind of read the first, the upper paragraph, the plaintiffs, whatever. I had no idea she was suing the town of Canton.
Yes.
I almost fell over. I had no idea. I thought it was the witnesses, MSP, Tully, Buchanan, and Proctor. I did not know she was suing a town. I mean, she's really suing everyone. It's insane.
She's suing them because they didn't find any corruption in the police department.
Yeah, it's something else.
How dare they?
How dare they exist?
Tom Webster just asked if we know why there was an amendment to Karen's complaint. For those of us who haven't read it, did they forget things? You know what? I don't really know the answer to that, Tom. I know that they put a motion to dismiss in, so she was supposed to answer the motion to dismiss, but instead they decided to do this, right? I don't know why.
Money.
Yeah, I think they just are trying to bankrupt the witnesses.
Yeah, because now the witnesses have to respond to this. It's
good question.
It is a good question. We actually thought about it today, and we thought we might compare the two. And
to see what the difference is.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, beautiful Julie.
Nope, it's me. Nick's
conspiracy. Oh, beautiful Ginny.
Julie's identity and going
next. And I'm going next. Yeah, I have I have Changing Stories. And I've got hold on, sorry. I accidentally uploaded this as a MP4 instead of slides, so I've got to pause it. But thank you to Tuesday, who made my job very easy with this one. So we've got John's entry points, right? And we have in the amended complaint, they've gone with, it could be either door. Maybe it was the front door. Maybe it was the garage door. We don't know. Whereas earlier on, the ID doc, she named this side door. What do you call it?
She called it a breezeway.
Breezeway.
Right. 2020 was also the breezeway. And Dateline, it was definitely the front door. So she 100% saw him go front door, the breezeway, front door, breezeway, garage door. We've got all of them. And I have some video later on too it goes along with all this with some other points that I have. So let me move forward. Okay. Carpet. The carpet is gone, guys. It's gone. in Vanity Fair. Hey, what happened to
Can't
it?
believe it.
Where is that carpet?
What happened?
Where is it, Karen?
John Como probably has it.
Yeah, he probably does.
Along with the carpet, my whole slide disappeared. There we go. Yeah, so in Vanity Fair Part 2, she talks about the carpet. She was playing DJ on Spotify, and she told Julie Miller that she's got this carpet in a temperature controlled storage unit that she's been housing and paying for the storage for years now. And one day prayed and hoped against hope that she would have the money to test it.
Oh, no.
I had
$1,000 suits.
I had a friend on Twitter. It's the account Ask Anyone. He's amazing, and he volunteered to pay for it.
Yeah.
And I offered Nick Rocco on Twitter. I put them together on Twitter because Ask Anyone said he'd pay for it, and he never responded.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I offered money too. I said I would match like whatever was, yeah, but
I did too. And now that I think about it, is Nick Rocco destroying exculpatory evidence or suppressing it?
Because they,
yep.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you just use luminol spray? And if you were looking for evidence, that would be the first step, right? You would look for blood. What's she going to do? Do a huge swab of the entire carpet and test that? I mean, you know how many DNA mixed samples would be on that swab? It's so absurd.
It's such a ridiculous story.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the last sentence. The Olympics are on TV, but nobody's paying attention.
The carpet story is so riveting.
Yes. It's just insane. I can't. So anyway, carpet's gone. Basement, you guys, they were so excited about the basement, and I have really bad news. It's gone. Basement's gone. Yeah.
Oh, but the ridge surface remains.
Look what Olivia said, Jimmy.
No, Olivia.
Look what Olivia
Wait
said.
until you see the video of the basement floor torn.
Where's
out.
the video?
I don't know. It's gone.
Bummer.
I'm really sad. I'm gone. It's gone. Aiden was super excited about it too. Like he had a whole explanation about how John's body would be removed, how the vehicle was blocking the view, blah, blah, blah.
Nick Rocco said there was 3 liters of blood in the basement.
Yeah. Yep.
Why are people not mad at them? I mean, if you're trusting someone as a source and they are saying these things and they're not providing them, at what point do you self-reflect and realize that your sources were lying to you?
They don't. Tuesday, John Como is like looking up menu items and stuff. I mean, it's insane. They don't ever go back and I mean, this was a huge deal. Huge. I mean, the next thing, let me move to the next thing. We've got Alan Jackson talking about the basement in court.
What was the basement used for in January of 2022?
So the basement had a weight room in one of the rooms, and the other room was nothing at the time. It had been damaged, water damage due to an overflowed toilet.
So part of the flooring had been ripped up.
Yes.
And that opened up some slab concrete downstairs.
Yes.
There was also some plywood downstairs.
Yes.
There were a couple of mats where the actual weights were, so they're not slamming down onto concrete.
Yes.
But there was a good amount of that floor that was just exposed concrete.
Yes.
The workout equipment would include things like, what, barbells, dumbbells?
Yes.
So, yeah. And so they're really now like, I mean, Lydia showed this portion of the motion as well. They're really focusing on the garage. So that kind of takes us into my next section, which it's, oh, actually, wait, before we get to Ian, I want to show their own expert talking about steps to the garage. So they're saying that John's head wound was caused by falling backwards, striking this ridge surface, and that the Albert's garage contains such a surface, right? But let's look at the steps, right?
So the Lexus, we have the complete stop. We've already talked about this as well, 12/24/38. According to, they're saying in their motion that according to John's Apple Health data, his final steps covered enough distance to get from the foot of the driveway into the house or the garage. But we can see here, his final steps were, he had 36 final steps. I think the reason, Tuesday, you kind of talked about this, why they were saying like around 12:20. And I think you're right. I think the reason they're trying to say around 12:20 is they're trying to get more of these steps included, right? Because let's listen to their own expert and what he said when he was interviewed.
How did you become involved in this case? I was contacted by somebody from your office last Tuesday, I believe, the 3rd. Okay. And was it explained to you why you were brought in at this late juncture? Yes, it was explained that there was another investigator who had a health issue and would not be able to testify. So would I be able to help out with a small assignment? All right. And what were you asked to do? I was asked to travel to 34 Fairview Road in Canton and take some measurements and photographs. Did you agree to do that? Yes. When did you go? On June 3rd. I believe I arrived about 5:30 at 34 Fairview. Okay, and when you say June 3rd, we are talking about last week, yes, correct? Last week, yes. Whom did you see when you got there?
Your first measurement was from the driveway to the front door?
To the main front door to the far left, yes.
And that was about 63 feet?
I believe it was 65 feet, something like that. 65? I have my notes, yes.
So suffice to say, if you were to leave the front door and come back to that spot, it would be an additional 65 feet back, right?
Yes.
The second measurement was from the bottom of the driveway to the middle door on the side?
Yeah, the second front door, yes.
Did you say that was about 70 feet?
It was, yes.
Okay. And again, if you were to come back, that would be an additional 70 feet?
It would.
And the last one was the door near the garage. Did you say that was further, around 80 feet?
78 feet, 3 inches, I believe.
One way?
Correct.
And back is another 78 feet?
Correct.
When you measured these, was it from the asphalt of the driveway or to the left of the mailbox as you're looking at Fairview?
It was to the right of the mailbox on the asphalt, as close to the mailbox as I could get.
Did you happen to take any measurements from the flagpole to the front door as far as distance?
I did.
And what was that?
I do not have the exact measurements. I'm not sure.
Do you have it in a report?
I don't. No, not with me.
How about the flagpole to the middle door on the side? Did you take any measurements of that?
I'm not sure I took that one.
How about the flagpole to the furthest away door, which would be the door next to the garage? Did you take any measurements of that?
I think I took a direct measurement to that, yes.
Right. And what was that number?
I don't know.
Do you have a report you can share with us?
I don't. No, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Did you ever measure, if you were at the flagpole area, how long it would take to walk up the street? Or how far it would be to walk up the street, up the driveway to any of those doors? Did you ever measure it that way?
I did.
And what was the distance if you were going to start at the flagpole, walk up the street, up the driveway, down the walkway to the front door?
I'm not sure that distance. Not positive the distance.
Was it over 80 feet?
It was.
And if you did the same route up the street, up the driveway, to the middle door, would you agree that would be well over 80 feet as well?
Can you repeat the question? How?
Sure. From the measure from the flagpole, up the street, up the driveway, to the middle door, that would be well over 80 feet?
Yes.
Same?
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, how convenient, right? Which we'll get into the flagpole more in a minute. But this guy was brought in a week before he testified, and he didn't remember what his measurements were from the flagpole.
Why didn't he bring them with him?
Right. Why didn't you bring your report? I mean, he remembered all the other numbers very well, but those he didn't. But I mean, let's just go back really quickly. All of those numbers, sorry, again, I accidentally did this as an MP4. None of that adds up, right? I mean, it's way too much. I'm tired. Guys, I'm tired. Like, this is
Why did they even call him? Yeah.
No idea. No idea. But I mean, let's go. Okay, so let's go back now. He doesn't remember. He doesn't remember, guys. He doesn't remember his measurements to the flagpole or from the flagpole.
Sir, do you know why you're there?
Yeah.
Who invited you?
And then let's see why that's important, right? Let's see why he doesn't remember it. And we talked about this earlier, right? Like the other guy was sick and couldn't make it. And so this guy had to fill in. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. I have my theories on why that actually happened.
Yeah. Although in the first trial, remember we collected all the expert witnesses and all the things they just were not told by the defense. It was actually embarrassing to watch. And so it makes me wonder, like, how in the dark was this guy, you know?
He looks confused.
He does kind of look confused, like the flagpole.
He does.
Like, why would I talk about the flagpole?
There was a flagpole.
Wait,
Part of the
what did
story.
they happen?
But let's see why the flagpole was important, right?
Yes.
Would those red dots indicate the center of some location that was captured at a particular point over that night?
Yes. So each of those center dots is the center of a 10-meter accurate or better location record. I chose to not show the accuracy radius circle on this image just purely because it makes it hard to see when you've got all these intersecting lines. But ultimately, if you were to draw a 10-meter radius around all of these points, they would all fall within the large red circle that's shown.
So this photograph was meant to take readings from the most accurate of the data throughout the night?
Correct.
Your Honor. Sustained. Ask it again differently, please.
Was this circle, did it include low frequency data?
No, this circle only includes 10-meter accuracy or better.
The fact that the center dots are in different spots, is that inconsistent with a phone being in the same place, not moving that entire night?
It could indicate movement, it could indicate refinement.
Is it impossible to tell?
It's impossible to tell at this level of detail anyway.
Are all of these dots, given the range, 10 meters or under, are all these dots and all these readings of the high frequency data that you compiled for that night, are they all consistent with Mr. O'Keefe's phone being near the flagpole and not moving that night?
Objection, Your Honor.
I think that's a reasonable assumption.
I'm Jackson, Your Honor.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why they don't want the measurements from the flagpole, right? They can't.
Right.
They cannot have those measurements
Right.
read out, because obviously it's going to be way over what his final steps were, and it's just impossible.
Right.
And then so that that obviously was like the most accurate readings from that night of John's phone, right? This is showing the 8-second snapshot of it. It's just an 8-second snapshot. It's just the refinement of the data. And if you look, I put this here. I put the garage and I put the arrow. Even like the lowest, like the least accurate refinement, that circle did not hit where the garage is. So even they're really pushing hard for this garage thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Because they need that phone temperature story to make sense.
Yes.
Right. But even this, it doesn't support it. The data does not support that John was in the garage. And let me see if this is a video or not. I'm not sure. No. Okay. It's just a picture, but
And that way they write the way they write it in the amended report is like he went into the house / garage. Like they're really trying to like merge it as one.
Well, they're just generalizing because they can't support one or the other, right? So they have to make it like super general. And I mean, the garage, I put this here because there is no entryway into the house from the garage. There's only that outer door.
Right.
So they're either saying that all of these people were waiting in the garage for John or what? I don't know, including Chloe.
Yes.
Chloe, they were all huddled in the garage waiting for him.
Freezing.
Or he walked into the garage and then they all came out of one door into another. Like they all walked outside and then they all walked into the garage with Chloe.
Yeah.
And they attacked him in there.
But how they get him back to the front yard, Judy?
I don't know because they didn't take the measurements.
Maybe they threw him out the window.
Steps.
Maybe since that guy said that it was 70 feet to the front door and then another 70 feet to the second door, which is clearly like 5 feet. Maybe that's their way of accounting for the so-called steps.
It's nuts.
And then the Faraday bag.
It's crazy.
It's absolutely insane. No one is waiting in their garage or walking out of one door into the, I mean,
are you just walking into people's garages? That would be a big no-no here. Was he going to borrow the lawnmower?
Yeah. I mean, that's assuming John, who's never been to this house,
right,
was just like, oh, hey, let me go see what they have in their garage. I mean,
on top of that, Karen's saying she's sending him into the house to make sure they're welcome.
Right.
So even in her story of him going through the front door or the side door, he just opens the door. Who does that? You know, like if you feel like you're not welcome and you want to make sure you're welcome, you're not going to just open the door, let alone go in a garage.
He went, but instead Tuesday, he went into the garage to drop a transmission. I mean, it's nuts.
And there's no window. It's like a door into the garage.
Right.
It's like,
which you can clearly see the garage.
Free Karen Reed, you're bananas.
Totally
You're just bananas.
Hey guys, John here.
I'm in the garage.
But if you bring up these questions, these are very important questions, holes in their storyline. And if you bring this up,
oh, you're gone again.
You're gone.
Me?
You're definitely hacked. That was an FKR hack.
Am I gone or is it Tuesday?
No, you're here.
Tuesday. You're good, Julie. You're good.
We've been.
You never know.
Let me
It's probably Meredith.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Next, I just have like her conflicting stories about like texting him. We can kind of skip that because we're already over. I mean, we already know all that. Like in one instance, she's saying that, you know, she texted him while she was waiting. One instance, she's saying that she called while she was waiting. I mean, we have her phone logs.
Yeah, she's just a big fat liar.
Right. We know when she started texting. We know when she started calling. It was not when she was sitting in front of 34 Fairview.
Right.
So yeah, she's, like you said, big fat liar. We don't have to play all those clips. We all know them, but
she's Pinocchio.
Yeah. So I'll let Julie take over from here.
Yep, I'll be really quick, you guys. So first of all, you know, with Proctor, the misconduct as opposed to corruption, those are two very, very different things, right? So corruption is using your position or your office for personal gain or to exert power over someone, right? So I have said it so many times and FKR laughs at me. There was absolutely no corruption in this case, none. So if you want to say that Proctor was biased, that's the reason why he was fired. I have thoughts about that. And I think time away from this will probably, people will see it a little bit clearer. Yeah, he said some really awful things and maybe they were a little sexist. I don't think he liked Karen, but I don't think that he disliked Karen because she was female. I don't think that had anything to do with it. I think he disliked Karen because of who Karen was. So I want to cover the way the defense and in this amended complaint, they keep referring to the phones as being destroyed, Brian Alberts and Brian Higgins. And I have two clips from the first trial that I want you guys to listen to. There's a lot in them. So we can start with either one. And then I'm going to explain some of the things that are in there.
Okay. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Sorry.
Is my mic working?
It is working
Yes.
now. I can hear you.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Talk amongst yourselves for a second.
Oh, you're good. You're good. The defense likes to use the word destroyed for these phones.
Mhm.
That is absolutely not what happened.
No.
Brian Albert upgraded his phone. That's not destroying it. There is something that happens in his line of questioning with Lally. Let's see if you guys catch it. But Lally points it out that the phone was not destroyed. The data on the phone was not destroyed. With Brian Higgins, his phone had been compromised, right? So he was an undercover agent. He knew it was compromised in July. He got a new phone. He kept the phone while they were waiting for the, whatever happened with that preservation order. He kept it longer than that. There is a material fact in this amended complaint that is the defense took it as completely false. They said that he destroyed his phone, again, I'm going to put that in quotes, in October of 2022. That is not true. It was December or January after that, right? So it looks a little more nefarious if he's getting rid of it within a month after the preservation order, but that is not what happened. So, you've got to remember that testimony is evidence, and they completely put in a false statement into their amended complaint. So, is it ready?
We were provided notification in regard to a preservation order in regard to your phone sometime in September of 2022, correct?
I received a subpoena on September 30th, 2022.
And that was in regard to a hearing at which counsel for the defendant was seeking your physical phone as evidence, correct?
Yes.
And is it your understanding, or were you informed after that date, sometime in early October of 2022, that motion had been denied?
So I believe it was October 21st of that year, I was made aware that was denied on actually October 5th.
Are you aware of a 30-day period by which a defendant has to file some sort of notice of appeal of a motion? Objection.
I'll allow that.
I know typically there's appeal periods. In this particular sense, I wasn't familiar with the preservation order itself. What a preservation order was with respects to, that was kind of all new to me. Usually in an investigation that I'm conducting, it's a search warrant, I take the phone. I don't ask people to preserve it through a court order, if that makes sense.
And so when was it that you disposed of your phone?
It was about 2 months after that.
And why was it that you disposed of the phone?
Because it was beaten, it was broken up, and I had already had a new phone, and only explanation is I threw it away. That's it.
Now, beyond sort of this case, what, if anything else, was going on with reference to your personal phone that led you to want to get rid of it?
So in July of 2022, I had a target of an investigation I was working who alleged that he called me on my personal cell phone. And when I questioned him as to the fact how he obtained my personal telephone number, he told me that his girlfriend had obtained it off of open source internet, which I later confirmed that number was out there.
What, if any, concerns did that raise for you, sir?
Well, I had a lot of concerns. And so July of 22 is when I probably started thinking about, I got to get rid of the telephone number itself.
And a lot of the work that you were doing, at least at that time, was undercover work. Is that correct?
Before this case right here, yes.
Now, as far as the SIM card that you're talking about, do you have any specific memory of doing anything with that SIM card?
No, and that's how I testified in that other hearing, that to the extent of what I would have done is I would have cut it up or broke it. And the concern would be that to my understanding, that's not holding any photos. That's not holding videos. That's not holding my contacts. It's holding phone information itself.
As far as photos or videos or what, if anything like that, did you even have?
I didn't have much, in the sense that I'm divorced. I don't have kids. I didn't have the typical memories that somebody would have had on their phone that they wanted to preserve. They were more like the text messages with the defendant, where it would be a drink glass at a bar, food, something along those lines. I had more of a connection to my work phone and more of a value to my work.
Yeah. So a couple things here, that SIM card thing, if you're still falling for that, what the defense tried to say, you are probably 20 years behind in technology. That SIM card holds nothing, right? So
Right.
it's basically just your phone data. And that's the billing information. And the reason why you would get rid of a SIM card is so that no one can impersonate you. So an undercover ATF agent would have to destroy his SIM card, because it could be very, very bad if someone was impersonating Brian Higgins. The other thing, and I don't know if I don't think people really caught this, when he testified at the federal grand jury and they were asking him about what he did with his phone, he said, "This is what I would have done. I would have destroyed the SIM card." He didn't really remember. So the defense has taken that like, oh, he's destroyed this, he's done whatever. And again, that SIM card is basically meaningless. It has no data. It has nothing on it. So breaking up that SIM card basically only destroys who the owner of the phone is and what their billing data is. It's not the pictures, it's not the texts, it's not any of those things. And then we've got another clip, if Lydia's ready with it, of Brian Albert talking about his phone.
Real quickly, I just thought of something too, is that if Higgins was framing Karen, why would he even offer up his text messages with Karen that show that he was flirting, they were having like a flirting relationship? But what would be the point of even doing that if he knew he was being covered in a frame job,
He wouldn't do that.
He wouldn't do that.
Right.
He wouldn't do that.
Right.
Especially if then you're going to turn around and you're going to make him the focus of your conspiracy, then it holds even less weight that he would turn over those texts.
It's preposterous.
Yeah.
So he killed John because he loved Karen so much, but then he framed Karen so he could visit her in prison.
Right.
Like,
right.
So she
that sweet commissary money on her.
And how did he know that Karen wasn't going to enter the house with John?
Well, I mean, that's what he was hoping, right? That's what everyone is forgetting. Like, FKR loves to say that Karen ghosted Higgins. It was the other way around.
Yes.
We all saw the text messages, right? He stopped responding to her. The only reason he texted her that night, I'm sure he had a few drinks, whatever, and he texted, the yeah. But
it's so incriminating.
Right. Before that, she had been. I mean, we all saw the text. You can't pretend, guys. Like, we saw them.
I know, and I've always
the aggressor. She was the one that was pushing.
She was, and he
got his number.
Skillfully avoided it.
Yes.
And also, it's so sickening how she even talks about her relationship with John and the kids, and how it's like, well, we're not married, we don't pay a mortgage together, they're not my kids.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, it's very clear how she valued her current lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. And I don't.
No, go ahead.
Oh,
Julie.
sorry. I don't know if anyone realizes this, but Karen telling Higgins that she had colon cancer is even worse because Karen's mother had colon cancer.
Right.
So Karen did not have colon cancer, but here she is impersonating having a serious illness that her mother had. Like, there's a level of sickness there that wow.
Yeah, it's called narcissistic mirroring. And she also got a brain tumor, because John's sister had a brain tumor. Like, it's so transparent. But I always really admired Higgins' ability to see that there was something kind of creepy going on with her in those texts. You know, if you read those texts, he was like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
You're being
Right.
weird and I don't understand it. And
He was really trying to feel her out over
Yeah.
and over and
Yeah.
over again. Like he definitely knew something was off.
Yeah.
And boy was he right.
Yeah. Dodged a bullet
You know,
there.
Lydia, you know what you just said? I didn't even think of this because Julie said that, you know, we all saw the text where she told Higgins that she had colon cancer and she didn't, right? And I didn't know that Karen's mom had colon cancer until Julie just said that. And then she also said she had a brain tumor, which is what John's sister had.
Yep.
So that is.
And then she
yeah.
had MS, which is what Jen had. I mean, it's a pattern with narcissists. I have a whole video on it. This is what they do. They mirror you. And part of that is taking something away from you, right? It's taking away those terrible conditions from those people by her just saying, oh yeah, me too. I have that. You know, it's reducing the weight of it and giving some of the weight of it to her. It's really sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So you want me to play
So
your
do we
second?
want to play Brian Albert? The poor
Yeah.
Bryans.
I know, the Bryans.
Respect to your phone. That was something that you had upgraded prior to any notification you received from the district attorney's office or anything in relation to preserving your phone. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, with respect to that, as far as the information contained within the phone, there are certain types of information. Are you familiar with being sort of backed up by the cloud?
Yes.
Would that include calls?
It could.
Could that also include text?
Yes.
Could that include photos?
Yes.
Could that include contacts?
Yes.
And the information that you were shown as far as certain call logs or call records, as far as you know, was that generated after that September of 2022 date?
Yes.
Now, with respect to the preservation, that was in regard to a motion the council had filed for your physical phone, correct?
Yes.
Are you also aware of a judge's order denying that repeatedly as far as them gaining access to your physical phone?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Yes, it was denied on multiple occasions.
I'll strike the multiple occasions.
So did you guys catch that? Lally got it out, right? So Lally was talking about the phone records that he was presented with at the federal grand jury and that he was presented with at this trial. They were after that preservation order. And we've said it multiple times that the federal investigation got their phone records. So it's impossible to destroy a phone and then for someone to get records from it. So it was very subtle the way Lally got it out. I don't think it was caught by a lot of people. I didn't catch it until today when I was listening to it. I've listened to it several times, but Lally really did get that out and his phone was not destroyed. The other thing I wanted to go over were the butt dials. You know, that night, the first one was 1 second. And then the second one was 22 seconds. I don't really know in a conspiracy how you plan things in 1 second. What was that supposed to, like, was it some kind of signal?
Seconds.
You know,
Wasn't the first one 8 seconds?
no, it was 1 second. It was 1 second.
Well, that's how good they are.
The 8 second was
really.
something with, yeah, something
They're
with
amazing.
Jen was the 8 second one. Yeah. And then the other thing that I wanted to touch on is we have a new allegation in this amended complaint. And that allegation is that Jen McCabe changed her phone settings before she gave her phone over. This is brand new. It's not expounded upon. They don't explain what they're talking about. If you go to your phone and you look at what settings are, right? Like what's under there, I can't think of anything that they're talking about. I know that there was an allegation that about Brian Albert's contact information, but that's not under settings, right? So I'm not completely clear as to what they're talking about. The only thing that I can think of is perhaps she put it in airplane mode. And again, I don't know, but it's a new allegation and they didn't explain it. And as far as I know, she didn't change any settings. I mean, don't you think we would have known if she had done that? Don't you think they would have been all over that in both criminal trials? during her testimony. Wouldn't they have questioned her about that? So now we've got this new allegation that she changed settings, and I don't know what they're talking about.
I wonder if they have some new Scooby-Doo like Richard Green.
But you know what's under settings? I mean, everything. She could have simply changed the display brightness. I'm looking at my settings right now.
You know what? You're right. Right. You're
I'm
right.
looking at it right
Don't
now.
say what it is very telling. Just
It
say
is
it.
telling.
What is this?
Yeah.
What setting? Like,
Hey,
why
you
would
know what I was just thinking though? Do you think it was when Tully and them took it? They would have put it in airplane mode, right? Don't the cops put your phone in airplane mode when you take it? When they take it? I think they do.
I think so, but they said that Jen did it.
They do, but Carrie, Jen had her own Faraday bag.
I was going to say, I bet it was the Faraday setting.
Yeah, they didn't need to put it in
Yeah.
That's true.
airplane mode.
That's true.
Yeah.
everything is just so cryptic with them? You know, it's like, just say it. What did she do? Like, this is your time to say it in your motion, you know, your complaint. What did she do?
Drop the bombshell.
What setting did she change, and why does that matter?
It's insane. It could be anything. Personal hotspot, battery, accessibility, your camera,
your ringer,
wallpaper. She could have changed the picture on her phone, the wallpaper picture.
She probably put her phone on silent mode once or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe she blocked Karen.
She never had a number.
You know, the last thing that I want to bring up, and I've asked a couple people about this, a couple lawyers, and some of them said, you know, it's probably nothing, maybe something they had canned for the civil complaint and they just copy and pasted. But if you go through this amended complaint, they do not name the federal investigation. You know, this filing was written for a federal judge, and they seem to be hiding the fact that the other investigation was a federal investigation. They call it a subsequent law enforcement investigation. And if everyone recalls, during the criminal trials, in the pretrial hearings, arguments, and in the filings, they couldn't say it enough that the feds were investigating. And now all of a sudden we're in federal court and we're hiding it. We're not naming it. So again, it might just be something that they had canned for, you know, the wrongful death case. But I find it very interesting that they're being so opaque about this investigation now.
Maybe they don't want a lot of eyes on how that happened.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
It is odd. That was something they boasted about for a very, very long time.
Oh, Jackson tried to get it in so many times.
And they're still, the cult is still talking about it. They were talking about it today. So they maybe haven't gotten the memo that this is not highest on the flagpole anymore for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good job, guys. So much information, and there's still stuff we weren't able to cover. I don't know if we'll do another episode on Lucky at some point, but that's a lot of information because of the changing testimony and the changing times and you know, I don't think it's intentional. I think he was trying to be helpful, and maybe there was pressure outside of that, but his accounts were changing of his memory, or his memory was changing of the times he was on the streets and which way he was driving to and what he saw at different times. And so I think that's worth something we really need to do an episode on.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Remember the video that Hank played in court? I swear I was laughing so hard. It was like a cartoon at how many times he drove past.
Oh, yeah.
God, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Just kept going by.
Hilarious.
And I think that's something people like overlooked was he was saying he was on the other side of the road.
Right.
On the other side of Fairview. And in order to be on that side of the route going that way, he was totally off on his route in what he was testifying. And so I don't blame him. Like, how do you remember something so mundane like that?
No, yeah. I mean,
right?
That's right. Yeah, I
But
wouldn't.
he was wrong. He was totally wrong about where he was. So that changes a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, Lucky went from not remembering anything and being threatened, and
Yep.
There was a lot before.
there's a lot of there. We could do a whole show on that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I think the majority of that show is really what led up to him participating, right?
Exactly.
There was so much before that.
Right, which is detailed in the extraction, including communication to the attorneys about it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
there's that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I know we have been on here for a really long time. We're getting
Yeah,
close to
sorry.
3 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I do want to answer just some questions real quickly because I promised to that we would touch on them at the end. Suzette, I'm guessing Suzette leans towards Karen is innocent. But she said, I'm hoping the next video is about phone calls and butt dials. Will that happen? Or did you already talk about that? And I responded that we have talked about that. In which she asked which episode, and I don't remember. So I just wanted to touch on this real quickly. And I know Julie already talked about Brian, Albert, and Higgins, their butt dials, but that was also asked upon them way later to remember these second phone calls and what that was about. And in a night where, you know, they had a long day, they came back from a memorial, funeral, and traveling. They went out with friends. They had some drinks. I mean, I don't know, but the middle, 2 o'clock in the morning, there's like 8 second or whatever it was, 1 second in a 20 second.
Right.
But
22 second, 1 second and 22 seconds. Yeah.
Right. And so they don't remember. So it's being labeled as a butt dial. That's it. And so is that nefarious? I mean, if you want to look at something in the totality of evidence, and it fits somewhere, I guess you could try and squeeze that in there, but it's not enough. It's normal. Butt dials are normal. Not remembering calls is actually very normal. If you're asked, like, did you call your aunt 3 weeks ago? Was there a 10-second? You're like, I don't know. I mean, they'd been hanging out that night. So is it something? To me, it's a red herring.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys wanted to make a comment on that before I switch over to Jen's.
Yeah, I do. I just want to make a quick comment. I mean, I'm going to try not to be snarky, but those are the kind of comments from Suzette, right? They're worried about butt dials, and they're not worried about everything else we just talked about.
Yeah.
This entire show. I mean,
yes.
Like, guys, I don't even know if you know how just ridiculous you sound. I mean, the whole show, the beginning with Tuesday, everything that they left out of it, her text stream data, everyone that she told she hit him, the glass on the back of her car, his DNA on the back of his car. Like, what are you and you want to know why Brian Albert butt dialed Brian Higgins? Like, what?
Yeah,
that's
and
bad
take the
thing.
scrutiny.
Talking about.
Right. Take the scrutiny that you're giving the butt dials and let's
crazy.
start scrutinizing some of the stuff that Karen did and like see where you land.
And also, there are so many butt dials between Aiden and David Yannetti, Alan Jackson, Karen, Natalie, everybody, everybody in the extraction. His butt is a lot busier than these two guys.
Well, that's totally normal. That's
right.
normal.
It's normal for them, right? Everybody else is a murderer.
I mean, I butt dialed Ginny like 3 times yesterday. Like,
I was about to say, Carrie has been butt dialing me like daily.
That's why when anyone I butt dial, my son's always like, "What are you doing?" Like, I don't even know how I do it.
I don't know how I do it.
So
I have no
we
idea.
haven't murdered anyone. We haven't murdered anyone so far.
It's like it's crazy the stock you guys.
It's trying to assign something to as proof of a murder frame job, and in order to believe that these butt dials mean anything, you also have to believe that like 5 paramedics, all these witnesses, all these people, the CERT team, everybody's involved, all because you want to assign these butt dials.
Right.
I mean, it's very weird.
Yeah, you need
very
vitamin D or
Yeah.
something. There's something not right.
All right, we can move on. Fine.
Tuesday, we can't hear you.
Nope.
Nope.
Imagine Tuesday saying something right now, and it's amazing. It's so good.
Yep.
Can you
Oh, now we can hear
We hear
you.
you now.
As I'm sighing.
Was there another question someone had? Did you say, Tuesday?
So Jen's butt dials, just wanted to say, and we've covered this before, but here is her call log and her text. So she is calling and texting John intermittently from each other. So she has testified that she was calling him. I'm sorry, texting him.
Right.
So what would be her reason to lie about calls? There is no reason to lie. None of that helps her. So is it more likely that she was texting, putting her phone away, and the person she last texted, it was calling? She was picking up her phone. She's socializing. She's putting her phone in there. I mean, there's no reason for her to lie that she doesn't remember calling him. That serves no purpose. In fact, it actually would help her if she was framing him to be like, yeah, I was calling,
Yes,
texting.
it would.
He wouldn't come in. He never came in the house. He must have been fighting. So you have to look at this from different angles.
And Tuesday and I have a friend who has butt dialed us no less than 1,000 times.
Not just butt dialed,
Yeah.
video called us.
Yes, butt videoed us.
Yes.
Well, Karen had one that night too. That's how we know when she was in the garage, right?
Yes,
So
exactly.
Karen
It's
had
not her
one.
fault, Julie. Poor Karen.
Yeah. How dare you? How dare you, Julie?
Stop it.
Sorry.
I'm trying to see, was there another question? I'm looking in here. I tried to save a bunch, but
I never can figure out how to look at that.
oh, why? Someone asked us if we would be willing to go on Loophole Lawyer as a guest in some.
That's a hard no.
That would be absolutely bleeping not.
I'll tell you who's asking that. I'll tell you who's asking that. Loophole Lawyer.
Loophole Lawyer.
Yeah.
Because he
That's
makes
a no.
a new account every single time we do a video.
Right.
What is wrong with him?
I would love to have a conversation with someone who is very well versed on the case and believes she's innocent, because I do have questions. However, I will say Samantha, I guess is her name. She is selling merchandise, or was selling merchandise of the victim, accusing the victims of
Yes.
a crime, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
And both of them talk about us in a sexually degrading way. So
She
Sure.
she's
no,
a
no thanks.
she says the most like
Yeah.
insane things.
the AI images of Higgins security footage with dripping blood really bothers me.
Yes.
I just find that incredibly unethical.
And AI footage of us.
Yes, all that is just not okay.
You can take a hike.
You
That's
can-
a big hell no.
Yeah.
Someone
Not
else
gonna
said a
happen.
Broken Baker, and I just want to say Broken Baker is another one. He sexually degrades women.
Yes.
He does that to us all the time. In I don't know why a man would behave that way. But yeah, we'll just leave that there.
Because he's not a man. Men don't.
Correct.
Right.
That is
Right.
correct.
So
So no. No. Nope. That's a hard no.
like, let us know. But we're not going to tolerate the abuse of witnesses in any way.
Nope.
No.
Or the abuse of us, because you can just FO with that.
Yep. So, well, another great night, guys. So much information. That was a long,
Thanks for hanging in there.
Yes.
We'll dial you some other week.
Yes. All right. Well, feel better.
We'll do a lot more read files episodes, guys.
Lots more.
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm going to bed. I am going to go lay in bed
Yeah, you need
with
to get
my
better.
tissue.
Yeah, y'all feel better.
Feel better, Julie. And you too.
Thank you.
Tuesday.
You too, Tuesday.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Good night.
Bye, guys.
Good night, guys.